What's happening, people, and welcome back to Scarfey Talks Premier League. It is Gameweek 22 review and 23 preview this week. So, obviously, some big games to discuss tonight. I know there is meant to be 5 of us. There is only 3 at the moment. I'd have to say my favourites are here already. The other 2 can make do with me giving them a bit of grief when they finally arrive. But obviously, I'm Kallum Stubbs, 97. You've been stuck with me for nearly half a season now. It isn't getting old. Well, it might be for you guys, not for me. So I'm still here covering for Harry. But Alfie, obviously a debut for you on with me on here, mate. So how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. And looking forward to getting stuck in to look ahead to the next week of football.
Lovely stuff. We will obviously be doing a championship show next year, so I'm sure I'll be doing it with you on there. Don't worry, I'll probably be joining you at this rate. And Craig, I believe it's a debut for you with me. You might have done some stuff
Yes.
with Harry before, but
Yeah, have.
I think you're definitely looking a lot happier than a lot of us after this weekend. So how you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, it like I say, it's been a fabulous season for us. So yeah, I'm smiling from ear to ear. We can't really quite believe where we are. A club that, let's be fair, Alfie will remember this. That of course, Southampton fans were putting coins in the bucket to save this football club. And now we might be going from minus 17 in League Two to European football. And well, I did turn around in a video the other day and say, oh, yeah, Champions League champion. I think that might be pushing it. But hey, we can all but dream.
Exactly, mate, exactly. And I've got to welcome on one of my returning guests, the loudest Geordie in the north of England, who gets confused and lost everywhere he goes. No Geordies like him, but we all like him. John, welcome back, my friend.
Big up to you guys. So this is greatness. I haven't promised logging in, guys, and even to Alfie. Big up to Kallum, Alfie, Craig in the chat as well. I do apologise. And listen, at the end of the day, latest is greatness. And Harry, if you're watching, bro, mate, I do apologise.
Do you know, it's always excuses with John now. I don't know why I keep inviting him back on. I think I'll bring him back because I know I just love his enthusiasm and his happiness because I'm always a moody bastard. Let's put it that way. So let's do some jumping into the chat. Obviously, one of my regular co-hosts, Barney. Good evening, brother. Good to see you, mate. And big up to Chris as well. Man with a spot dear in my heart who always makes me cheer up and happy and laugh. David Clark, good evening, mate, as well. Obviously, Barney looking forward to tonight. And it looks like Dave is on his second knee replacement for this year, for 26 years of playing football. It's either that or he's training to join the Spurs squad because we are about as depleted as A&E and medical department in one. So Barney's happy. Evening to John from Barney as well. And
Big up, Barney, mate.
Right. So obviously, let's set the scene. So it's game week 22, and some of us were happy, some of us not so happy. I know that my bottom 2 at the panel, one's got a big smirk on his face and one looks like he's ready to headbutt a brick wall, which I love. I think that is freaking brilliant. I'm not going to lie. I know Harry's going to have a go at me for swearing. I know he's going to have a go at me for that, but it's going to be one of them nights. I'm dosed up on painkillers. I'm recovering from flu. Got a load of God knows what in my system, so I'm pinging and bouncing. So let's see what happens when we get to 10 o'clock. Oh, we've got a late bloomer. I don't know whether I will let him in the chat because I know he's going to give me a lot of shit tonight. And I know that I was speaking to him whilst I was out on Saturday, but he is one of my good friends. Dan from Toffee Bluecast, obviously the happier of the 2 of us after last week, but it's good to have you here, brother. How you doing, mate?
All good, mate. All good. Do you know what? I actually didn't even get to watch the Everton game.
Didn't miss much.
I don't even know what the score was.
Yeah, didn't miss much. I mean, to be fair, I have got some toffee chocolates here. I didn't do them for you. It's just I had what was left over from Christmas. So that's on that one. So let's jump straight into it. I think it's only fair to let John and Craig have a brawl on this one to start off with. So the early kickoff. I mean, this game we predicted last week to be a very good one, and I mean, it didn't disappoint from a neutral point of view. I had it on the radio. I thought 5 Live and TalkSport did great coverage on this one, and so it was Bournemouth travelling to St James's Park. John already looks like he's ready to be put in a straitjacket and locked up. It was Bournemouth 4, Newcastle 1. So I think I will let the victors talk first on this one, and then we will do a solemn loss to John at the end. So, Craig, talk me through what happened, because you was without a number of players. All your strikers were out injured, and it looks like it was going to be Newcastle continuing their great run of forms.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's start from the very beginning. Stupid kickoff time for a game between Bournemouth and Newcastle. Of course, Newcastle had it earlier on in the season where it was a 12:30 kickoff and they had to travel all the way down south to Dean Court. We had to do the reverse at the same sort of time. So, yeah, TNT Sports can go do one from my perspective. But let's be fair, this game was probably the best performance I've ever seen from us in the Premier League. No, actually, it was without doubt the best performance we've ever had in the Premier League. As you say, you're right in saying, you know, we was going into it with an injury list as long as your arm. We had Evan Nielsen out injured, of course, our first choice striker. Enes Unal, the day after, he got an injury, an ACL, so he's out for the season. So that's always a positive start. You know, we've got Sinistera out, Adam Smith out. I'm trying to think of who else we got out. We let Max Aarons go out on loan. I don't know why, to Valencia. We have got injuries all over the pitch. If you look at our subs bench, it is basically kids at this point in time. It is kids. And it's not because we haven't got strength in depth. It's just that the injury room is bloody full at the moment. So I expected us to go up to Newcastle, and if we come away with a point, I would have been happy with that. But we didn't. And every single player was excellent. So Lewis Cook, and this is what Iriola seems to do very, very well. What he seems to do well is he seems to have or is training players in a secondary position. So Lewis Cook, fantastic midfielder, defensive midfielder. He's moved him to right back. He looks like he plays there every single bloody week. Looks like he plays there. And I've got no doubt he'll probably play there against Forest as well and still do such a good job. You look at our left back position as well. Kirkes, he's probably running on empty, but he keeps going and going and going and going. There is Semenyo. Now, I've said for a couple of weeks, Semenyo looks like he's nursing an injury, but he doesn't seem to let it bother him. Doesn't seem to let him bother him at all. What? And also, I can't, forget this guy as well. Dongo Watara up front. Dongo Watara is a player that you could say he's one of those annoying players that does 9 things wrong, but then one thing he does absolutely spectacular. Iriola's moved him up front because of this injury crisis, and he seems to be getting every single thing right at the moment. So it's unbelievable. It should, and you're going to hate me for this, John. I know we're very, very, very good friends, but you're going to hate me for this. It probably should have been more. Dongo Watara, of course, put the ball in the back of the net. It was ruled out. For some reason, Dongo can't score against Newcastle. Well, he can score against Newcastle, but it just keeps getting ruled out via VAR. David Brooks hit the post. Lovely, deft tap. Justin Cliver had another couple of chances. Semenyo had another couple of chances. If it ended 6-7-1 to Bournemouth, I wouldn't say, and John, you might have a different opinion of this, but I don't personally think that Newcastle played badly in that game. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I think it's because we played so well. We would have honestly beaten any team in the Premier League playing like that. And it's frightening considering where we've come from. It's actually frightening. Can they do that against Forest? I can't imagine that happening every single week. If that happens every single week, well, we're onto something great. But that was something special. Something special. Another question that was thrown about on Twitter X, the cesspit that it is, was that is Iriola a better manager than Eddie Howe? Now, personally, I think you can't make a comparison between them. Without Eddie Howe, we would never be here. We would never be in this position. We probably wouldn't even be a football club. If we had carried on with Jimmy Quinn, we would have been relegated into non-league and we could still be playing. To be honest, we'd probably be playing Eastleigh. So, yeah, I think
it's all right, John. It's all right. John's got a hospitality weekend down there next week, so you can't diss Eastleigh. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, to be honest, John, you could have been watching Bournemouth, Eastleigh in your non-league travels. To be honest, and I absolutely love that, mate. Honestly, brilliant.
I could have done. I will do. I'm doing Southampton next week anyway because I'm back at the match. This is good.
Right,
but yeah, it's excellent, and I think hand on heart. I can't compare the two, but Iriola is something special. Now, if we can keep hold of him for the next couple of seasons, it would be a miracle. Somebody's going to come in for him, and I can expect. I honestly think Arsenal will get bored. I know that's a swear word here, but Arsenal will get bored of Arteta, and they'll probably rip him from our clutches. And to be honest, that's probably the club where he's probably best suited, and they play in the sort of style that he'll impose.
You never know. I mean, Spurs are probably looking for a new manager soon, and Iraola's done it on a budget, so I'm sure Daniel Levy will come calling. But let's put it this way. Craig, like you said, they did play very well. Just because I know I'm going to rub it into John's wounds a little bit longer, I'm going to make him wait for a couple of the other panelists to have their views on this, just because I know I want him to sweat a little bit. So, Dan, give me your thoughts on this one, because we was speaking last week and thinking that what sort of Bournemouth would turn up here and what sort of Newcastle would turn up. Obviously, Isak had a very quiet game, and Justin Kluivert on the other side of that seemed like he looked like his dad at times. So can you give me your thoughts on how you think this one turned out?
Well, we did say on the show before, like you said, whether we think, are Bournemouth going to keep it up? That was the question we was asking. Like, is it going to end with Bournemouth? Is it just a run of form, or are they going to turn up this game? And Newcastle, obviously, this is a big game because it's a good test for Bournemouth. And we said the same about Newcastle. They're smashing it, and it doesn't surprise me either with Newcastle. I did say that this was going to happen when we had John on the show a while back, that it was going to pick up. And they have done. And I did watch the game, and you know what? I felt sorry for Tonali, because Tonali was the only one that was up for it when I watched it, I thought. Tonali was the only one that was battling harder than the others, and he was proper Italian fighter, get stuck in. But Bournemouth was just so physical, and it was really weird actually, because Newcastle is such a physical team as well. So for Bournemouth to out-want them, outdo them, out-battle them, and on the physical stuff, I couldn't believe it. And I was shocked because I was watching it, and I know Joe Linton was a big guy, but I think even Joe Linton got the card and stuff because he knew that these was beating them on the physical battle. When Newcastle are physical teams, to take their own game to them, Newcastle, what they're known for, being strong and physical, and beat them on that and be as clinical as they was sensational from Bournemouth. And after that, I said to a few people after, you know what, fair, I take Bournemouth seriously now. I've always thought, you know what, it's going to stop. But now I'm just saying, no, they are a cracking team. And the players he mentioned was cracking. I've never seen them play this good. Like you said, I think this was peak performance because everything they was doing was going perfect. Shots going in from Clive, from miles out. And it was one of those dream games which made it harder for Newcastle as well. But I think Newcastle will just be fine. They're going to have an off game. You could see, like you just said, the striker, Isaac, he was a bit quiet. They couldn't really get the ball into. Gordon was really quiet, who they massively normally get success from. Tonali battled, but I thought what Bournemouth did well was they got round Newcastle's main players. So all the central midfield creative players that normally do create for Newcastle, they mastered it. And that could be down to the manager tactical, but what Bournemouth did was fantastic. And they've got to be taken serious because it was two teams at the top. And Bournemouth won the battle. But I am not writing Newcastle off because I do think that they've still got good in them. They just didn't really turn up for this game as much as Bournemouth.
No, of course, mate, of course. And John, I think it's only fair to come to you now, mate. Like Craig and Dan have both said, obviously, Bournemouth went toe-to-toe with you guys, and ultimately they did play through the midfield strength that has been outstanding for you guys. Like I've said, I've seen it against Spurs. I've seen it against so many other teams. Tonali, Guimaraes, and either Longstaff, Joe Linton, all of them playing in that position. What do you think was Newcastle's main weakness this game against Bournemouth to mean that they did exploit you and obviously did put forward past a very strong defence, how you've been the last 6 months to a year?
We got cooked on Saturday, didn't we? I mean, Craig pretty much summed it up. Like, look, we couldn't win in the midfield, we couldn't win up front, couldn't defend. That's the problem. And we look at the goals, right? We conceded. Well, just poor goals, right? Given playing out for the back, the second goal, the third goal, I think go and get the ball away. They score from it. They're cracking goals, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but I'll go with Craig. What he said, it could have been 6 or 7, and quite rightly so. I watched the highlights of that game. I thought I was horrified. Do you know what I mean? But credit to Bournemouth, Craig. Well done to you. I think Bournemouth are the best team coming up for St. James's Park this season. Let's be real, right? I'm not going to lie. But the fact of the matter is, I just got no place. The better side won on the day. Yeah, they caught us on a good day, right? I mean, we just didn't wake up. Do you know what I mean? And people saying that we look knackered. I didn't feel like knackered. I'm not going to put down an excuse. I would never say that a place not tired. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to put down an excuse, yeah? We just wasn't good enough on the day. And Bournemouth got us on the day. Got absolutely no complaints whatsoever. But what Eddie Harrison realised, yeah, he needs getting more players. If you look at the subs bench, right, that bench is not strong enough. That is the thing. Where you got players like Zula there, 36 there. You got other players that do not good enough, yeah? I mean, come on. I mean, are they going to make a difference? So it's Lloyd Kelly, yeah? I mean, for me, right, I'm not sure about Lloyd Kelly. I know Craig likes him, but for me, I ain't so sure. I think Juve's after him as well. Personally, I just go and make a profit on this guy. But I think if you look at it at the end of the day, right, I mean, Fabian Schär could have played that game, but I'm not sure if he played or not, I'm not so sure. But I've got no complaints. Bournemouth Saturday, they won that game fair and square, no complaints. And I'm going to be honest, we're going to need to pick ourselves up next on a couple of days' time. Now we lost, we had a good innings, we're 9 games straight in all competitions, right? Great innings. Now we got to go again, yeah? We must go again because if we don't, then we're going to get stressed. But the good thing is, we got a week off. We'll get a week off on Saturday, and we go again. Yeah, but we must win this game. But as for Bournemouth, you touched on Ariola, Craig. Right, this guy's going to be something special. You mentioned that, yeah. He's going to be something special, yeah. I hope we keep him next season. I really do. But he'll get picked off by someone, I hope you keep him. But if I was a Bournemouth fan, I'll be worried. I'll be worried because for me, personally, he's going to be watched. And I don't want to wish that on you. Yeah, he'll be watched. Yeah, if Super Duper Mick don't win the title, he should be sacked. And I think he'd be watched by him as well. You mentioned as well, Kallum, about Tony manager Ange. Yeah, he's under pressure. Yeah, he can come into Spurs on a budget. Yeah, but I think it probably asked Danny Levy the questions what ambition's going to be because he wants a clear idea what he needs. If Ariola was picked up by Spurs or Arsenal, right, and both teams looking for him, he ain't go to Arsenal. He'll go to Arsenal. I really do think he'll go to Arsenal because their style of football is more suited at Arsenal, and he'll love that. Do you know what I mean? But one thing I've got to say, right, that Justin Cliver, that guy's a baller. He's an absolute baller. Absolutely baller.
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, Semenyo, class. Caracas, you mentioned him, class. Do you know what I mean? That team you had no strikers, yeah. Half your first team players out, yeah. And you still come up here and beat us. Do you know what I mean? I've got no complaints on that. You deserved it. The best team to come out of St. James's Park. Let's be real. And I'll tell you another thing as well. I think it's going to take about 3 or 4 more seasons before we beat Bournemouth again. And I'll tell you that right now. As long as this manager is there, we'll not win Bournemouth as long as your manager is at that football club. Because it seems to me that we just can't get master to it at all whatsoever.
I just think,
well done, Craig.
John.
Well done,
No, cheers, mate. No, thank you so much. I honestly think, with Iriola, I think that personally we might have a little bit of a Brighton model in place, succession planning. What makes me think that is because Milos Kerkez, a lot has been talked about him. He's been absolutely outstanding. He is without a shadow of a doubt.
A proper baller.
He's the best left back in the Premier League at the moment, John. I honestly do think that.
Don't let Barney hear you say that because he'll throw Robertson down your throat. Let's do that.
No, he's miles better than Robertson, and in fact, that is where they're expecting Kerkez to go. Now, the thing is what's happened is that Bournemouth have brought in a guy called a 19-year-old from Argentina, signed from Lanús, called Julio Sola. And I spoke to Alejo Rivera on the show the other day. And, I asked, well, how good is he? Now, Alejo is effectively the Argentinian Clive Tilsey or Martin Tyler, whoever you want to compare him to. So he's been around in the game for a long, long time. And he said, I've seen Kerkez, and this guy is better. Now, if, of course, that's a big statement to make about a 19-year-old. But if Alejo is right and Sola is going to be better than Kerkez, I think, wow, the recruitment is spot on at the football club at the moment. And I'm so proud to be a Bournemouth fan because for so many years, like I said, Kallum, we have been managed by, and this is before the Premier League years, we've been managed by a bunch of idiots, leading up to that -17, being managed by a bunch of idiots. Then Eddie Mitchell come on board, God rest his soul. Maxim Denham come on board, Bill Foley, and it's been up every single time. It's just improved each time, and the right people being in the right places. And I think there's probably a succession planning of if Iriola goes, we've got this man in mind. We know who we're going to go for. And yeah, it's outstanding. Couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier, mate.
No, that sounds good, boys. That sounds good. Right, let's jump on to the next game. Alfie, I'm going to bring you in on this one, mate. So, obviously, this game I sat watching in a pub on Saturday night when Dan was contacting me, trying to get me on his podcast. I said to him I could podcast from the pub if he wanted me to. He said no. I thought it would be fair on that one because I helped my mate move. Let's put it that way. But this game, I thought Brentford deserved something out of it. I'm not going to lie. I thought they played outstanding. And then the one person that I thought has been a pile of dog shit for Liverpool for so long somehow has one of his best sub appearances in his history at the club. So talk me through this one, Alf. What was your view on it?
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, up until the 90th minute, Brentford were defensively sound, which is also shown within the match statistics, with Liverpool having 37 shots in the game. And I mean, with Brentford holding them up until until like 2 back-to-back goals in injury time late on into the second half. It was against the Liverpool side, which is arguably one of the best Liverpool sides that we've had in the Premier League since at least I can remember. I mean, yeah.
No, it was definitely one of them where I thought that, like you said, Liverpool definitely showed their class in the end, but from this game, they did look weak for major parts of it. And Dan, I know obviously you've got such a soft spot for Liverpool on every single level, mate. I know that you want every time for them to win and them to keep pushing the title, and every 3 points is crucial for them. I can see that twinkle in your eyes every time that I talk about them. It just lights up, doesn't it, mate?
First of all, keep talking like that. I'm hoping that fan comes off the wall and conks you on the back of the head. No, I do I hate them. I'm just keeping quiet, but yeah,
such a wanker.
I hate them.
Such a wanker.
I was getting excited this game, and I watched it. To be fair, I did watch the Everton Spurs game, by the way. I was having you on, of course.
I know you. I know you fucking did. I was surprised. I was
just waiting for you to give it large, but yeah, I watched every second of it. Don't worry, and I'll give you a good analysis of it. But no, they should have beat them again. I keep saying this. This is the problem, and like you said, you don't expect Núñez to come on and do that. But that's what happens sometimes when you make substitutions. Like, this is why I always say make substitutions, because you can bring players on that you don't know what they're going to do. Like, you generally, I always used to say this when we had Dyche, like when he didn't use some of our new players, you've got to just like make moves as a manager. And as much as I hate this team more than anything with a passion, but the substitution was good, clearly, wasn't it? Because he brought him on, he trusted him, and he proved himself. And Liverpool have got a massive squad, and if they start doing that, then it gives them more of a chance to frigging win the league, which it shouldn't happen, by the way. I feel that Brentford should have scored, and they could have won this before that. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the game, they just burned out, didn't they? They completely burned out and just let him run the show. Really frustrating. I was hoping at another draw, because they seem to keep dipping 2 points. Liverpool do. They keep losing 2 points, which could cost them the title, keep drawing games. And I hoped that this was one of them, Kallum. I thought, yes, another draw. But no, he come on and he did that. He won't do it again. You know what I mean?
No, he'll be sold in the summer. They'll sell him.
Yeah, he probably will be. That's what makes it frustrating. It's a player that there was all talking about going. He's come on and done that, and they brought the Italian player on as well. They said they was going to sell as well. Yeah, so they brought Chiesa on, who set him up, who Liverpool fans say they didn't want him, and then they brought Núñez on, which they probably didn't want as well, and scored as well. So about as lucky as you get into it. There was probably all giving those two players massive shit before the game. Liverpool probably was, and then all of a sudden they'll be singing random songs about.
And that's the thing.
That's what I've got to say.
I don't think they played particularly well either. It's like you said. It's just Brentford ran out of steam, because I think Visa and Bournemouth, they was just running and running and running. They run for days, and you can see why so many clubs are looking at them too. I mean, I think Forest put in a cheeky bid this week for Visa. They seem to be trying to buy every Premier League forward that's below them at the moment going. But it was one of them where just a bridge too far for Brentford to go. And ultimately, Liverpool did get the points. So let's jump on to our next game of the day, and I will give this one to Dan and John to fight out over this one. So it was Fulham going to Leicester and getting a very respectable 2-0 win, even if they are down in relegation and are playing some of the most worst football that I've seen of the season for Leicester. So, John, if you can come in and talk me through this one, mate, because it's definitely not improving at all for Leicester, and Fulham still seem to be going through the motions like a lot of other clubs are pushing for European spots. So talk me through it, please, mate.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Leicester in big trouble anyway. I mean, look, they're going to have to make some signings really, really quickly. And I can't even lie, because the players that got there on the route are not good enough, yeah? I mean, The reason I've heard people saying the reason Ruud got the job is because he won 3 or 4 matches with United. Yeah, that's why he got the job. Yeah, he goes there, right, and it hasn't quite worked out for him. I'm afraid. Lost 3. Was it 3-0 against Leicester? Is it 3-0 against Leicester? First game or something like that. And also as well, it's just someone that right at the club. I mean, of course, good players, man. But it's a stat for you, right? When Steve Cooper was there, before you got sacked, where were Leicester?
They were outside the relegation zone, I think, weren't they?
They were 16th. He gets sacked. Who takes over? Where they are now, second bottom, right? You got to be careful what you wish for. I'm telling you. And I think the owners of Leicester will be thinking, "What's the F I've done here?" Do you know what I mean? Because I feel for some of Leicester fans, they're good fans. I've been to Leicester. They're really good football fans. You know what I mean? So passionate, so emotional as well, Leicester fans. You know what I mean? But they could be in serious trouble this season. They really can. I mean, Jamie Vardy's doing his best, but he's 38. He's 38 years of age. That's the problem. They're going to need a striker coming in to take the pressure off him. Yeah. Then you got, it's the defense. Awful. The defense is shocking, man. How are we? But saying that, Fulham, they're just going really well. I mean, we got played in Fulham of the week on Saturday, and I don't feel confident going into that game, to be fair. But Fulham looks a good, decent side. Marco Silva, Edwin Smith-Rowe has been absolutely outstanding again. I know Barney's going to be happy when I see that. Troy Oye's coming into it. Harry Wilson's coming into it. Lukic is definitely coming into it. But there's one player I've been impressed with for Fulham, and that is Sasa Lukic. And I tell you what, I watch him for Torino and also Sander Berg as well. Those two in the CDM. Berg 6'5", Lukic is 6'2" or 6'3", I think he is. I could be wrong. But those two in the midfield are so strong in a holding role, yeah? Again, if you thought we had a tough against Bournemouth, I think those two are going to be tough as well. And I'll tell you one thing, and I'll tell you for a fact, I think Fulham, if Mark Silva does his thing, I think they're better away from home than they are at home. I can't lie. But if Fulham keeps it going, upon a mad run, I think Fulham are going to get a place in Europe this season. I really do. Because Marco Silva has done an unbelievable job. They've got a perfect manager there at a perfect football club, right? I don't agree with their prices. Season ticket prices, I don't agree with that at all. But Fulham are a fantastic football club. They're not the biggest in London, but I tell you one thing. Like, if you live around Fulham, there's a lovely little club around on the doorstep, right? And that's Fulham Football Club. I mean, look, I've been to Fulham a couple of times. I loved it at Fulham. Brilliant fans. No issues with them at all whatsoever. And, I think they keep going.
No, that's fair, mate. Definitely an outside chance of getting probably a conference place or even Europa League place for definite. The only fan that I've got problems with is Barney. Don't know why I keep inviting him on here and getting him back. He keeps boring me and Dan every time he comes on here. So I don't know how that works. But very much
he keeps going on about he keeps going on about the crap left back that they've got, doesn't he?
Well, do you know what? I didn't realise that Barney is a Fulham fan at first. I thought he meant about Andrew Robertson. I thought he was a Liverpool fan at first.
No, Anthony.
No, Robin. Yeah, I think, Robinson is definitely the second best left back in the Premier League. But, Kirkezi's number one at the moment.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Obviously, in terms of Fulham, Craig, I will bring it over to you. Troy Ore with a lovely goal. Looks like Oil Boy is he's finally got his baby sham on. His baby oil and baby lotions going all the way. He must have got a fortune off his sponsors for scoring at the weekend. Let's put it that way. But no, Fulham just seem to have a lot of options out there. I think it might just be squad depth that could be where if they do get a run of injuries like what a lot of other teams have had, potentially that could be the only thing that pulls them apart. So what do you think, mate?
Yeah, to be honest, Fulham, of course, promoted with ourselves and Nottingham Forest, who I'm sure we'll come on to in a bit, back in 2022. A very, very, very good side. But as you say, the strength in depth is not necessarily there. So that might be where their biggest difficulty is. Their starting 11, is excellent. I would say, when we went up there, of course, Harry Wilson was always going to bloody score against us. We knew that was just fate, wasn't it? When we went up there, was it just after Christmas? Everything's merged into one. Around that period, I was really, really rough and had that horrible flu that you've got now, Kallum. So I do feel for you on that. But yeah, I think personally they have got a very good, starting 11, a couple of good fringe players. But if they do have a bit of an injury crisis, then it could be trouble. And what you've got to keep in mind as well is unless they invest heavily in the summer, if they do get a European place, and this is the biggest concern for us as well, is especially with our bloody injury crisis at the moment. But, if they do get an injury crisis next year, they're playing Thursday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, then, it's going to take a lot out of those players. And the last thing you want to do is tumble down the Premier League for the sake of playing in Moldova or Estonia on a Thursday night.
Yeah, the good old checker trade standard for that one. But no, Barney definitely agrees that their squad does need some reinforcements, whether it comes in this window or the next. Now, this one... The next one on there, this one had all the makings of a cracking game. And I think that we all said that potentially a draw could be an option. Dan, you're smirking like a gibbon. Get lost. Such a dick. You've made me lose my train of thought now. I can't even edit this. I can't even edit this. This is live. What? Oh, you're such a knob. You're such a knob.
It's so smug.
It's so smug, and I was trying to keep composed. And if we weren't live, then it'd be all right. But the fact is, we are. I can't go back and edit this. And Harry will literally blacklist me now for doing this. John's going to be hosting from next week. I mean, fucking God help us. And all that. We ain't got no chance. We ain't got no chance with that. It's still turn up late. You can't log in. But oh, right. So train of thought composed. We're safe space. Right. So
to anybody that's listening, if you wonder what Kallum's on about, why she was hosting, then ready to talk about West Ham and Crystal Palace, I'll put in the private comments the Everton goal scorers that scored against Spurs just to throw him off, and it did. It made me smile a lot. But go on, over to you, Kallum.
Yes, thank you very much. Before I was so rudely interrupted. So, right. So we go to the Olympic Stadium. And Crystal Palace travel up from South London to go to Stratford. Definitely, when we were discussing it last week, we all thought that this could go either way, this game. It depended on whether Potter was going to turn up and get West Ham in some sort of shape, or whether Glasner was going to persevere with how he seems to be picking up a lot of points compared to the start of the season. And it did end 2-0 for Palace. So, Dan, seeing as you so rudely interrupted me, I'm going to come to you first, mate, on this one.
Well, do you know what? I actually watched the full 90 minutes of this, so I'm glad you put it on me. And we said this could go either way. And you're looking at on paper, you think 50-50, but I cannot believe how bad West Ham was, defensively. I mean, there was against us, so I should have known, but it turns out they like it every week, and they are so bad. West Ham have got big problems in defence. I couldn't believe how poor they was. They played Kudus up front and they just couldn't get the ball to him whatsoever. And do you know where a team just doesn't look like scoring? West Ham looked like that. They never looked like they was going to win the game. And Crystal Palace had that edge where they did look like they could actually score. So you could see it come in with Crystal Palace because they look more of a threat. But it just shows never judge a team by... Sometimes when you look at a team, you think you go straight to the attacking players, like Wolves a little bit, and you think, they're good. Because they're attacking players. You judge them on their attacking players. And you look at the players that they've got, like Kudus and Bowen and all that, and you think they're good, but you're only as good as your defence. I'm starting to learn in football. And I think your roots is your defence. Everything starts from your defence. And Bournemouth's defence really strong. That's why they've been so good. Newcastle, other than that game, defence really strong. Nottingham Forest's defence really strong. it shows, doesn't it? I think if your defense is strong, you can attack. You get to attack. If your defense is strong, it takes the pressure off you, and you get to attack. And your attacking players can just be themselves. And Crystal Palace obviously got good defenders. They defended better, and the attackers decent. So I watched the game. Crystal Palace massively deserved to win. West Ham got big problems, and it's not surprising me that after this game that they're looking in the transfer window to spend big because they need to.
Yeah,
I can't believe they got rid of Moyes, to be fair. When you look at it, because I had a West Ham fan on the channel and he was like, "Oh, I hate Moyes. I goes, "But you won your trophy." And this was straight after he won a trophy. I don't know. I want him gone. But it just shows, be careful what you wish for, because I don't think it was Moyes sometimes. I think it was Moyes was working with some back defenders, and West Ham ain't as strong as they want to be something before they are it. They need to get the players in. West Ham want to be like top 4, Europa League, everything, but they ain't got the players for it yet. They've got to buy more better players than what they have done. They spent a bit, but they need to spend more. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult one, because I'm just looking at their lineup, and I'm not going to lie to you. From the back 3 that they had, Mavropanos, Max Kilman, Aaron Creswell. Mavropanos, well, he ain't great. I'm not going to lie. Max Kilman probably was quite good for Wolves.
Average.
He's on the older side now. And Aaron Creswell, I mean, he's been around since the Ipswich days, hasn't he? So, I mean,
Exactly.
It doesn't really inspire confidence when you're playing a back 3 who just aren't good enough for it. And it's like you say, they've spent money, but they haven't either spent it well, or they need to spend a lot more to be where they want to be. And in comparison to that, Alfie, if I come over to you, Mateta last year for Palace was outstanding. And this season, he's been a little bit up and down. He's been able to share the front line with Nketiah and people like that. But, I mean, this game just shows that he's still a class forward, and why a lot of clubs were looking at him in the summer, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, being selfish, Southampton could use someone like him, because he can score Premier League goals, and Palace have been a bit up and down this season. There's no denying that. But obviously, with the way that they set out against West Ham, with Eze and Sarr, playing just behind him, it worked for him, which obviously showed with the 2 goals against what we've already described to be a not completely solid defensive back 5 for West Ham.
No, exactly. I mean, it was definitely the same formation up against each other. I mean, it's quite interesting from Potter to go back to a back 5 straight away when West Ham have been playing mainly a back 4. But obviously on the other side of that, you've got Crystal Palace, who realistically have lost one of their best players of the season in the last 2 weeks. They've lost Chalobah, being recalled back to Chelsea, which is very unfortunate. But I mean, when they've got Gahey, Lacroix and Chris Richards all playing there. I mean, Richards is a right back by trade, and he did brilliantly for them at the weekend. And then having Tyrant Mitchell and Munoz up and down that flank, they seem to go toe-to-toe with Wan-Bissaka and Emerson. I was going to say Emerson Royale then. I forgot he played for us. He's just another Brazilian fullback who's just the epitome of fullbacks. Shit. Let's put it that way. But no, a very good win for Palace, and that has taken them further up the table. Let's jump to another good game that I watched in the pub as well, which was very good. Instead of being on Dan's podcast, that did work for me, so I was happy with that one. So it was I wouldn't say a nice day, a cold day in London at the Emirates. It was a 2-2 draw, with Arsenal obviously taking an early lead into 2-0. And then Aston Villa, I mean, they were cracking once they got going and all that. It was a game of 2 halves, and Aston Villa coming back into it very nicely. So, Craig, if I can come over to you on this one, mate, I think that Arsenal, very good in the first half, but I think they just ran out of ideas by the end of it, and they had no clue. For a team so defensively solid, they had no clue in the second half. Can you talk me through this one, please, mate?
Yeah, of course. So I think, Arsenal are, they've got a lot of quality. They have got a lot of quality up there. They're really, really playing, do play some really good stuff as well. However, and it's a big however, we saw their frailties, when they come down here. And they can have those defensive lapses. Of course, the goals, I think, was it 10 minutes? In between 10 minutes, I think, the Villa goals. They just kind of run out of steam, and that isn't the sign of champions, really. That isn't the sign of champions. So yeah, don't get me wrong. Villa are a very, very good side. Of course, you know, got some very good players. I think they're battling because they're playing so many games, both in the Champions League, which is going to take a lot out of them because I think they're not unprepared. That's unfair to them, but they're definitely under strength, for that competition. And to compete in both, I think, I think Unai Emery is doing a really, really good job, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think, I think it was a good point for Villa. Arsenal will be very, very, very disappointed. Watkins, I know his goal was very, very well taken.
Yeah. No, exactly. And John, if I can come over to you on this one, mate. In terms of what Craig said, obviously the Arsenal definitely more points dropped for them, and I know Dan is very unhappy that allowed Liverpool to extend their lead at the top of the table for that one. But I mean, I think Arsenal played very well for about 50 minutes, and then they just looked devoid of ideas after that. They were giving away silly fouls. They lost control of the game, didn't they? And I think Villa took full advantage of that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, Villa came back well and got those 2 goals. Poor goals considered by Arsenal. But the thing's, at the end of the day, right? I mean, Thomas Partey plays a right back. Yeah, he's not a right back. He's a central mid. Yeah, that's
He's
the system.
shit. I just think he's shit.
Yeah. Look, he's one of the better players, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. But when he's on it, he's on it. But, when he's in the midfield, cool, it's fine. But all the good players, they've got some good players. Gabriel is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I like Gabriel. I think he's a really good player, defender. And Saliba, I mean, bad. He's going to be out. If he's out for a month, that's good news for Newcastle. So he might not be playing against us in the cup. He may not. But they still got some good players. Trossard had his best game yet. Yeah. But the goals conceded were shocking. Absolutely shocking again. Yeah. And that's why Arsenal's not going to win the title. Mikel Arteta will not get Arsenal over the line. He will not get that football club over the line. I'll say that now. For me, I think if he doesn't win Arsenal the title, he should be sacked. I'm sorry, but if I was an Arsenal fan, I would never have this manager in the first place. He's just a rookie. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans who are watching. He's just a rookie. Yeah, for me, if you wanted Arsenal winning titles, then you could have gone for Diego Simeone. You could have gone to Ancelotti. You could have gone for Simone Inzaghi even. Yeah, to get this football club over the line. Yeah, this manager spent 800 M's, right? 800 M's, $1 billion, right? $1 billion, by the way, and he can't get this club over the line winning the title. Yeah, for me, right? Yes, they could have won it, but it was handball, and rightly so. Yeah, because that ball's going towards the goal. Sorry, but at the end of the day, right? I mean, Arsenal's drawn too many games for me as well. They lost 2, great, but they've drawn too many games for me, right? Mikel Arteta is not the man who's going to take Arsenal Football Club going forward. The guy is done. I'm sorry, but 800 M's spent and he cannot get you over the line. I'm sorry. If Eddie Howe spent 800 M's at Newcastle United, right, and it does get me a title, then for me, there's got to be questions. As much as I love Eddie Howe, there's got to be questions. But
no, that'd get you lot PSR problems. Let's put it that way.
John, you've just given all the Arsenal fans a bit of an out now, because I'll tell you what they'll be saying is our poor form is because Saliba's out, because that's what they did, and they turned around and it really, really, really pissed me off. It did that they blamed them getting beat by AFC Bournemouth that day on Saliba being sent off that pitch in the 30th minute. And I'll tell you what, mate, we was better team 30 minutes beforehand. Saliba was on the pitch during that time. So yeah, you've probably just given them an excuse. They're all going to be jumping on that.
Let them jump. I was thinking the truth. I was thinking the truth.
Exactly.
End of the day, right? I mean, look, Arsenal's got good players, right? I mean, look, they've got what they haven't got, what we've got.
Striker.
A world-class striker. Piers Morgan, right? Should keep his mouth shut. He ain't getting Isak. He's never going to get Isak. No way, horse here. Right?
The thing is, though, the like, we say it's Arteta's fault, like Arteta's a problem and stuff like that. But you watch Arsenal, there was miles better. Arteta got the team to play miles better than Aston Villa. Digne cross, he brings Digne on. He brings him on. He whips a ball in, a random ball, goal from nowhere. Aston Villa didn't look like scoring. We see this all the time. We've seen it in the derby with Man United. A team Manchester City controlled the game, and then all of a sudden, Man United get one break when they've looked shocking and get back in the game because they get momentum from it. And we've seen it with Aston Villa. Aston Villa looked shocking this game. Didn't look no way of scoring. Arsenal looked like they deserved to win and battle. And then Digne cross, Tillerman's in, momentum, come back and get in. But like I say, the point is, we're saying about Arteta, but Arteta does get Arsenal. Every time Arsenal play teams, they are better than teams. They have better possession. They do all things around the pitch. They're just not clinical enough, and they need a striker. But do you think that Arteta hasn't asked for a good striker? Because I don't think that's on him. I think Arsenal should have got him a decent striker. And if they got a striker like Isak or like Kuna from Wolves, I think Arsenal would have really done damage this season to compete for that title. Like, you've got to get a good striker. A striker gets you goals without you even wanting them to. That's what they do.
They've been relying on Jesus for too long, haven't they? And to be honest, he's missed the best part of the season. Out of the last 3 seasons, I think his stats are only that he's played 45 to 50 games properly out of 3 seasons. That's not something you want from a league striker. So can I just go round and I just need a yes/no answer from all of you? Just in regards to what John picked up on, the Kai Havertz goal in the 88th minute, getting a no goal for apparently a foul, but then I've heard talk of a no for a handball as well. So, Alfie, if I come to you, should it have stood or should it have not?
As a referee myself, I'm happy with it being disallowed.
Good. Craig?
Yeah, it shouldn't have stood.
Cool. Dan?
It was handball, wasn't it? It was handball.
Cool. And John, I know you said that it was a no goal as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Good, because I've got so many pelters from Arsenal fans this week saying when I said it's a no goal, they went, "How could you say that?" Because it's the truth. It was a no goal. Piss off. So that's on that one. So let's
when you watch the video, he's got his left arm and he's got his right arm, and I swear some people that are saying it wasn't handball are thinking it didn't hit his left arm, but it does hit his right arm. Yeah. That's what I think they're saying. They're thinking, "Oh, look, it didn't hit his arm," because you think they're looking at his left arm, but after it goes past his left arm, it hits his right inside arm, which he moves. He's got out and he moves it towards the ball.
I think they've just got their minds muddled up. They're saying that PMGOL were against them again, even though they got that given that goal against us when it went out for a corner literally a week ago. So I mean, I'm not going to lie, no referee is backing anyone in the Premier League because the referees are so fucking shambolic in it that any decision can go tits up any week. So any team that's saying it's against them, no, just no. Right, we don't need to cover this game, so let's go on to the Man United-Brighton game. Nah, I got to do it. I can see him waiting to go at me. Obviously, Spurs travelled up to Goodison Park on Sunday.
And we fight with all of our might for the boys in the royal blue jersey, copites and gobshites.
You are a gobshite. Shut up.
Honestly, there's this thing like I am in love. I can't deny. Our number 10, his name is Iliman Ndiaye from Senegal to Bramley-Moore. He's freaking brilliant. He's the one that we adore. And obviously, Iliman Ndiaye. We'll speak about him now. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah, no. So obviously, Spurs travelled up to Goodison Park on Sunday. It was a weird.
Did you travel up though?
No, I didn't. Spurs did.
No, did the players travel up?
Well, I don't know how many we could actually take. Somehow, in the fucking lead up in the pre-match press conference from Friday to Sunday, we'd lost 3 more players. How is that possible?
Oh, behave! Stop making excuses.
Oh no, we were awful.
Stop making excuses,
mate. We were awful. I'm thinking, how the fuck Spurs lost 3 players in that time? I don't understand what's going on with the medical side of it. But no,
same injuries as well.
Yeah.
No. To be fair, what you're saying though, big loss. Obviously, I'm having a bit of banter with you, and I'll carry on. But Solanke out is a big loss for you. But just before the game, like Harry was on the channel, he was like, "I've just found out Solanke's out." And
it was like 9 o'clock on Saturday night that we heard about it. It was like a contact injury when he was trying to take a shot on training on Saturday. So it was that, and then Johnson and Basuma. I mean, Johnson, for all his failings, is a good option off the bench. And Basuma, I think this game had that combative edge to it because obviously you guys were quality in midfield on Saturday. You completely overran us. And I thought that, or Sunday, sorry. And I thought that as an option to have, Basuma would have probably had a very good game here in terms of controlling and being that shielding aspect. But no, Dan, if I can bring it onto you straight away, it was a weird start for definite because it looked like Spurs set up with a back 3 the first time that we've done that in the whole of the Premier League under Ange. Not a day to experiment, I don't think, especially as when you guys were definitely a lot more up for the game. So can you talk me through the start of the game, please, mate?
Well, I mentioned the young kid that you was playing centre-back. I thought he was fantastic centre-back, but instead you actually played Davis centre-back instead. Yeah. Which I found interesting. You played Porro in a position where he kind of said, like, it looked like he was right back at first, but he played right wing. So I think your manager, he played you in a formation where players was just going to move in ways that he said and that they didn't really understand. And I think your manager was frustrated. He said afterwards, I tried to get them to do a certain thing and they didn't do it. So you couldn't tell what Spurs wanted to do. And I don't think the Spurs players could do what the manager wanted to do. He had a clear plan. And we marked out all your decent players because, like, we took Maddison out of the game. Yeah, we took all your good players. Son was quiet. Kulicheski, whatever his name is, we kept him quiet.
You really frustrated him. You could see he was getting pissed throughout the.
Yeah, he was getting. That's what I'm saying. So I think David Moyes moved our players about because David Moyes did the same with us. He moved our players in because we was thinking. Like, it looked like we had 4 in defence, but then sometimes O'Brien was pushing up and we had 3 in defence. So sometimes we played with 3 defenders. So ours was quite rotative as well. And we just played really, really well. And it was nice because David Moyes said to the players, just go out and attack clearly. Yeah. And it was nice to see Mikalenko bomb it forward. And Dyche has got all of our players. And I said this, I did say on the channel, Dyche is the problem. And I got a bit of stick. And is it just Dyche or is it the players? And the problem is Dyche was defend first and attack if you can. David Moyes got these players to come out and try and attack. And we wasn't perfect. We wasn't. But we could have been 5-6-0 up first half. And I'm not joking. Yeah. Calvert-Lewin scored. And then he went for a one-on-one and controlled it bad with his knee. And should have scored after that. So you're really happy with Calvert-Lewin because you're thinking, what a goal. It was a cracking goal, by the way. Something you don't normally see after. A lot of people probably saying Calvert-Lewin's not good enough, including myself. He turns up and proves everyone wrong with that goal. But he's got to score the other chances after. Do you know what I mean? It's all right scoring a complete worldie, but when you get a one-on-one after, you've got to score that. He didn't, But then luckily Illiman and Jai, who have Skillerman and Jai, we call him, he's completely done 3 of your defenders, and he's like Berbatov. When he's on the ball, everything slows down, goes slow motion, and he's got the skill. And normally a player's got the skill and they haven't got the composure at the end of it, but he's got the skill and the composure. And I've said Illiman and Jai is a proper talent. We're playing him left wing and his position's 10. So he turned up and played his game. And then the cracking cross by a player called Lindstrom, who Sean Dyche never played. And Lindstrom was fantastic this game. You know, I think he was a big part of us playing well. Lindstrom down our right-hand side, right wing. And Lindstrom, he was cracking. Good crossing. Set the Tarkowski headed it back across. And then you kicked it in the back of your own net. Yeah. But we was fantastic. But one thing I want to say, obviously, I praise us. We were fantastic. Loved it. We didn't finish the game well at all. We come out. We didn't want second half to come. Second half did come. And when we come out second half, it just seemed we wanted to just win the game, not actually play good like we did the first half. And we just tried to see it out, which was dangerous. And obviously, Kulichevsky scored. And then Richarlison come on, and Richarlison scored. And a question to you, I can't believe when his job's up for stake, he didn't start Richarlison, because I was really scared of you starting Richarlison, because I knew Richarlison would score against us. And as much as he loves us and won't want to score against us, he bleeds football. And I knew Richarlison was going to come on and do the damage. And I do believe if you started Richarlison, it would have been a lot scarier for us. So I think you missed the trick. I don't know, he's only just coming back, but you still put him on. So just
the thing is, Richie's been training for about 4 weeks now. Since the start of January, he's been coming back. And he came back against Arsenal, looked bright. And there are 2 people that I think should have started over 2 starters. Probably 2 starters over on Saturday. Like you said, I'd have moved Gray back into centre back and played a straight back 4 against you guys. Dropped Davis out. I'd have 100%. Fucked off Maddison as well, and I'd have had Richarlison starting up top, because I thought he was really, really combative when he came on in the second half. Didn't have much chances until the end, but there's another person who came on for us, young Mikey Moore, the young 17, 18-year-old, and he got both assists for both of our goals. And I thought he was outstanding. He looked so up for it.
Harry did ask for him to start on his when Harry come on our channel. Harry had Moore as left wing, and I said I didn't know much about him, but he's a player, and I can't believe he didn't start him as well.
Yeah, I'd rather have gone a front 3 of Richarlison, Son, and Moore, and had Bergvall, Sarr, and Kulusevski in the middle. I thought it would have given us so much more balance, and it obviously did put you guys under pressure. But the fact we left it so late for the last 10 minutes, and we did have the chances, but it's too little, too late. And I have to give it to Everton for 60 minutes. You guys were prime, and the fact that Dominic Calvert-Lewin hadn't scored for 16 games preceding this, and then we turned him into the prime-looking Ibrahimovic or something like that, it's no discredit to Calvert-Lewin, but it shows how shocking our defence were on the day as well.
There was a lot of pressure on. It was like Calvert-Lewin's game where Moyes put him in, and we didn't really massively want him in. Moyes put him in again, and he was on the spotlight. Let's just say that it was probably last chance. So there was a lot of pressure on him. And luckily he did well.
There was one moment though, like you said, with a one-on-one moment, and that happened, and then the camera panned over to Moyes, and he reached into his pocket and he got a notepad out, and he started making notes after Calvert-Lewin doing it.
He did say in the press he was really good, but he should be scoring those other chances as well. And he should. I like that Moyes said that, because we played well that first half, and it's nice to see that, because when you scored like 1 goal in 10 games, to see us score 3 like that straight away, it's improvement. But we've got a long way to go, and I think us smashing Bournemouth in the cup will be a big move forward as well.
No. Although Steve
took him on. And I did win as well, because he comes on the Duffy Blue Cast.
I tell you what, Dan's drawn the lines. But to be honest about Everton, just to have my 2 pennies worth. Look, a completely different side under David Moyes. It is like I said, and I'm sure you'll forgive me on this, Dan, because it did actually happen. I've said that if Everton persisted with Sean Dyche, they're going down. And it's not because they've not got the quality of players. They've definitely got the quality of players. It is that Sean Dyche knows one way of playing. And that does not... There was 0 shots on target during that game from Everton. At least, put our goalkeeper under a bit of pressure. For fuck's sake. I'm not being funny. Dyche's negative tactics. At least Everton have come out and shown the shackles are off now, Dan. And honestly, I can't see you being anywhere near the relegation zone. So, no, I hope that you go from strength to strength from here, and I'm sure you will do. Because Moyes is a good manager. West Ham fans are just, wow, it's ridiculous that they wanted to get rid of him. To be honest.
Yeah, no, exactly. And obviously Everton did go up higher in the table, and there have been Spurs fans wax lyrical in terms of saying what the fuck is going on with our club. But I'm sure that if anyone wants to check that out, you can go and check out.
I had us down before that game as like I was worried about us being near the relegation zone because we were obviously near the bottom, and you was only 7 points away from us. Now you're 4.
Now it's 4.
Do you worry that you're near the bottom? I know it's a crazy conversation for a Spurs fan, but do you worry that you're near the bottom of the table and your manager is going to keep playing the same football, which is probably not football you play at the bottom of the table?
No, that's the thing. So there's 3 points that linking in with what you said, Dan. It's like you say, we're closer to relegation than top 4. That's one of my main concerns. 2, he's unadaptable, so he's not going to change his way. So he's going to persist with it, and he's either going to get it going and we'll start getting wins, or we're going to just completely fall apart until we get injuries back. And it links in with the comment that everyone said earlier about having a stable defence, starting from the back and then working your way out. And then the third point is we're 22 days into the transfer window, and everyone expected Spurs to go out and buy 3 to 4 players. At the moment, we bought a goalkeeper who I thought had a very good game on Saturday or Sunday in comparison to what everyone else did. But we've been crying out for reinforcements, and it's not happening. So is it that is Daniel Levy going to make Ange either walk or get himself sacked and all that because of a lack of progression? So yeah, it's very concerning to say the least.
Well, Madison did play for Leicester. Sorry, I took it on you, but Madison he did play for Leicester when they got.
I know, and we got them on fucking Sunday as well. So I mean, we've got.
Well, you should pick up some points in your head. You should pick up some points there. But honestly, after watching that game, Everton look miles better than both Spurs. Sorry, Kallum, but miles better than Spurs and Manchester United. To be honest, if we had Manchester United or Spurs in the cup rather than Everton, I'd be a lot less worried. Man United, I think, would have been a cakewalk, to be honest, based on them.
I think the only thing that's keeping Ange in the job at the moment is cup competitions. But we've got a big game away at Hoffenheim tomorrow night. We're playing on an icy fucking pitch because they're under snow at the moment. We've then got the second round against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup on my birthday, which is just going to ruin my week. I know how that's going to go. And then we've got Aston Villa straight away after in the 4th round, and that's away at Villa Park. So definitely concerning. And the fact that we've got 8 days left in the window, and all the journos are going, "Oh, Spurs are monitoring this. Spurs are looking at that. Well, just do something." So now you know what it's like to have Daniel Levy as a chairman. I saw him and Rebecca Capelhorn on Saturday in the stadium, and they didn't look happy. I'm just thinking, yeah, they're not happy because they've got us in this freaking position in the first place. So
Daniel Levy's as tight as a duck's arse, to be honest.
I think a duck's arsehole is looser. Let's put it that way. So definitely is, yeah. So literally, he goes, "Oh yeah, we'll put all the money." Daniel Levy, as a businessman, very good. Off the pitch, on the pitch, yeah, Just no interest.
Shame we couldn't get Richarlison back. I would love Richarlison back at Everton.
Levy's going to want a ridiculous fee though, Dan. And all that. He's going to want his money back. He's not going to let it
happen.
No.
Even if it was a loan this season, if Richarlison is going to get loaned out, I'd love him to get loaned to us because Richarlison, he connected with the fans. Sometimes players connect with the fans, and Richarlison, he bleeds Everton. He really does. And I think he misses us. He does. You can tell he connected with us. But like you say, it's a business, unfortunately, and 60 million is way above what we could pay to get him back.
Realistically as well, I don't think Spurs can afford to loan anyone out at this rate. Let's put it that way. I think our injury list is now 13. Literally, the amount of injuries that are out there. Some people have been doing a first team that we've got now, and the injury sort of set up on them squad planners and all that. The injured squad could beat the first team. That's how shit it is at the moment. But another shit show club. Let's go to Old Trafford, because I know this one pretty cheered everyone up on this one. This one we thought could go either way. It was either going to be prime Man United turn up and they would absolutely kill Brighton. But no, the special Brighton that we've all come to know and love over the last 2 years turned up at Old Trafford and actually completely decimated Amorim. And I saw a picture the other day of it said the effect of alcohol on people, the effect of drugs on people, and then the effect of Man United on Amorim. And literally, it looks like Amorim should be in rehab after this game. So I think it's only fair. So who wants to take this one?
Oh, I want to really have my say on Man United. I really do, because...
Okay. Who wants Bournemouth? Let's talk about Brighton first, Craig. So who wants to take Man United, or no, Brighton out of John and Alf on this one? Who wants to take it?
I think Brighton's been really good again. Like, you know what I mean? The thing is, right, you don't know which Brighton's going to turn up, but on their day, they could be one of the best teams in the Premier League. And the way they play the football under Fabrice here, the way they play football and control the game, I mean, they've just been fantastic. I mean, yes. I mean, look, I mean, they're hard side to beat Brighton. Yeah, they've got a pretty good record at Old Trafford, guys. Do you know what I mean? But if you look at it, the first goal was shocking. The second goal, the free kick came, he was dumped on his he went flat over his backside, did he? Do you know what I mean? And he scored from it, you know. Everything's gone wrong at United's definitely gone wrong, do you know what I mean? But I think I think Fabrice Hudson's done a wonderful job there. He really, really is. I'm sure you're going to talk about Man U in a bit, but if I'm honest with you, I mean, the third goal was a gift on Nana. What was he doing? Yeah, the game was done. And Brighton, they just laughed. They didn't just celebrate, they just laughed. Do you know what I mean? Because they must have thinking, this is the worst United side I've seen in my lifetime. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real. But Newcastle fans got to be careful if I keep saying United. You can't say United if it's by Newcastle. Don't go Man United. Yeah? At the end of the day, right, I'll say what I want. Yeah? I mean, look, our fan base, I'm sorry, that's another time. Another time. Yeah. But look, listen, I thought they made it look easier. And I think those players are United. I'm sorry, you need to look at a hard look at the mirror, because they're just simply not good enough for that football club. They're not.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. And Alf, if I can come on to you, obviously Amorim has gone from being the golden boy of Europe to pretty much being the whipping boy of Manchester at the moment. Is this too far for even him to be able to recover?
But I mean, like, looking back on it, there hasn't really been like a good, consistent Man U manager since arguably back at the time of Fergie, which then says a lot about the owners as well, but which obviously is a different conversation entirely. But I mean, like, they've got a stupid valued bench. Because I saw a game a few weeks ago where they had something like £800 million worth of players just sitting on their bench, and which then just like sums up like if they're going to spend that sort of money, then like surely like at least like use it to improve the squad instead of finding themselves in like the bottom half of the Premier League where they really shouldn't be.
No, exactly. And Craig, that leads me in nicely onto you, mate. So obviously Alpha said the comment, £800 million worth of players on their bench. Probably true valuation without Man United tax is about a chocolate teapot and a packet of biscuits. Where do United go from here? Because I mean, surely it's only up, isn't it?
Fuck only knows. Do you know what? They are, I saw this. They are atrocious. They are absolutely atrocious. When we played them, being honest, the only real side that Manchester United have performed decent against recently is Southampton. And sorry, Alfie, you're in the position, where you're on 6 points. I've upset you now. Sorry, mate.
Everyone can get their goal difference up when they play against Saints, though. So
well,
I mean, it
exactly.
works
Apart from Everton.
No, you just play against us, Dan. That's how you get your goal difference up, mate.
We're probably the only team that's lost against Southampton twice this season. But we're nice like that. We're nice. You know what I mean? We give them 3 points, let you go through in the cup. Don't worry, we feel sorry for you.
But Man United are absolutely shambolic. When we played them as well, again, to be honest, it should have been 6-0. It should have been about 5-6-0 last season. They have not improved under Ruben Amorim. They have not become tighter. They've not become. To be honest, I think Xerxes looks like he's got something. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's the answer. I think they've got problems at the back, their midfield. Kobe Mainu, his quality, fucking hell, if they lose him, they're gone. They'll be relegated next season. I can't believe, really, why they're even contemplating letting Rashford go, because I think, Rashford, if he can get his mind in order and they can turn him round and persuade him round, he could be their answer to improve. But they got absolutely, apart from Mainu, zero quality. Bruno Fernandes, has completely gone off the boil. He's completely. I think there's a quality player in there. Casemiro is, injury prone. He's, got his Zimmer frame in the changing room. Honestly, they are poor. They are poor. The only thing, the only people that have benefited from Manchester United over the past couple of years is Ajax. They're the only ones that have benefited, to be honest. The rest of, Man United fans, the stadium's falling down. To be honest, it's quite funny, to be fair, But, Man United fans probably not agree with me on that. They probably all hate me and probably want me to burn now.
Well, don't worry. I mean, Spurs have got an aggregate score at the moment against them. We've still got to play them. I think we've got an aggregate score of 7-3, I think it is at the moment. And that's only through a cup game and a Premier League game. So we've still got to play them at our ground. But no, definitely Ajax the only ones to benefit, and maybe the Glazers from how much shit they've put into it and run it up the wrong way. So let's jump to actually one of my favourite teams of the Premier League this year. We're going to go to the Forest.
I want to say one thing on Man U, though. One thing I was going to say is that the I think the manager's really good, and I do think he's the right answer, but they ain't got the right players. And I do think that I look at him and they just haven't got the right players. But you can tell some games Man U have played, he hasn't got the players that he needs. And if Man U have got to go through a transition, and I think they've got to say to someone like this manager, clear out who you want to clear out. And whether that's Rashford or anyone else, just clear out who you want to clear out and get a team that can play your style of football. Because his style of football, when you've watched him against some big teams, they are dangerous. Like, he will be good, but he's got slow defenders, crap old players. You give him his players, and he'll be a dangerous manager. Because when we got Moyes, I love Moyes, but in the future, you're right. In the future, I think partner's gone for a toilet break, so I've had to have the little one here. But yeah, I think in the future he'd be a good manager for Man. Man U need to change. They can't keep talking about Fergie. They've got to. Someone's got to be bigger than. Well, not bigger than Fergie, but someone's got to be a new identity for Man U, a good identity. And I think that manager's cracking, and he looks like he's got a good style about him. But because his style's completely different to all these players that he's got, he's going to need time.
That's the thing. He's got about 6 different squads in there. So do they just go and start ripping up contracts? Because, I mean, like you said, Craig, there's not enough value in that squad probably to be able to bring back even half of what they need, is there?
No, and dare I say it, and Dan might not like me for saying this, of course, when David Moyes went to Manchester United under the recommendation of Fergie, I think that Fergie knew that squad were on its knees at that time. He knew that golden era had come to an end. And he knew that if he had stayed on, a bit like Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, where he stayed on and it didn't really get any better, I think what they needed to do was stand by Moyes for a lot longer, and Moyes would have got success there. But instead, what they did was they made all the transitions. They went from manager to manager to manager to manager, and it's not worked. Ten Hag was a complete and utter failure. It's got to be honest. The mess prior to him as well, again, complete and utter failures. When really the man that Fergie recommended, would have been the man who probably would have got them back to their best. Because
I think the only other one would have probably been Solskjaer. I think Solskjaer had the right foot in.
I've had some head-to-heads with Man United fans, and when they're like the sporting director, that they've got a sporting director and they sacked him, and I think that straight away shows if you get a sporting director and you sack him that quick, the club haven't got a clue what they're doing. And you look at the transfers. I mean, they wanted Branthwaite off us, and they could have got him if they wanted, but they went for that young kid centre back who looks like he's nowhere near good enough. And the same with they went and brought Anthony for how much? Waste of money. They really could have built a good team, because Kudus was about for such and such money, 30 million. Instead, they got Anthony instead of Kudus. Kudus was available for about 20 million. They got Anthony instead. They could have had Kudus. The Branthwaite, they could have had, if they paid the money to Everton, they could have had Branthwaite. Striker, they should have gone for Osherman. Like, there's talks now that they might do a swap Rashford for Osherman, Napoli. They should have gone for Osherman. Fletcher would have been a cracking... I don't know why they let Fletcher go to Napoli, because he's a good midfielder, Fletcher is. He shouldn't be in that league. He's really... No disrespect to that league, by the way, but I'm just saying, for how bad you are in midfield...
Do you mean McTominay, mate? Do you mean McTominay?
McTominay, Fletcher, for Scotland. Link there. No, McTominay, but yeah.
Fletcher was at United, but he was a youth striker.
Yeah, that's why, yeah.
I think he's
down in non-league like McTominay, yeah. Glad you corrected me there. But McTominay, yeah, he's absolutely smashing it. And I think McTominay would have been mild. He would have been probably one of their best midfielders, with the other one that you said was good as well. So,
yeah,
Sancho's gone, and look, he's playing decent now. There's something massively wrong at Man United. Like, honestly, their recruitment is... They could have built a really good team, but their recruitment to get players like Evans back, to get players like Ericsson back, they've not built nothing. You look at teams like Brighton, recruitment, incredible. Why have Man U not done that? Teams like Bournemouth, recruitment, incredible. Why have Man U not done that? They just try and get names instead of actually giving young, talented players a chance. And Man U, they deserve what they get a little bit, don't they? Because they've been shocking.
No, exactly. Right, let's move on to our next fixture. So we'll go to the Forest ground, and it was a tight game in the end. Southampton finally discovered a bit of a backbone in this one. It was 3-2, and it's probably the best I've seen Southampton play for a long time. So, Alf, if you can talk me through this one, mate, to start off with, because I think that Southampton actually played quite well, and you probably could have got something out of this if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this game versus Forest just sums up our season. Is that we're just not clinical with our chances. We don't have a striker who can score goals in the Premier League, and I've been saying this like since the summer, because we've got people like Adam Armstrong Paul Onuachu, who had been out on loan last year over in the Turkish league and was bagging them in. And there's players like Ross Stewart as well, who we signed from Sunderland, but has been hampered by injury. And I mean, it's frustrating in a way because like we had people like Adam Armstrong, like before when we were in the Premier League, and he could not score a goal to save his life. And
Yeah,
I mean, like defensively, we're not much better either.
No, of course. And I mean, one of the biggest shit shows of Southampton, I think, has got to be the Brem Brereton Diaz saga.
Oh.
I mean, how many times are you going to loan him, re-sign him, sell him, re-sign him, and he does nothing at all? It doesn't really inspire confidence. And I mean, it kind of airs of Man United as well, how no one has a clue who's doing the transfers for you guys either. How Bednarek is still playing in defence for you. I mean, he wasn't good when he was in the Premier League first time around, was he?
No. And it's like going back to what we were talking about Man U, about like not letting like the young players actually play and develop. So we signed like young England under 21 centre back Ronnie Edwards from Peterborough in the summer, and we haven't played him, and he's gone on loan to QPR and he's playing well. So it's like we just need to like have a bit of youth and like players who actually can like not even like win Premier League games, but like at least look like they're trying to perform.
Yeah, no, of course, and probably what's not helping you at the moment is all the media links to Tyler Dibbling as well is probably not inspiring any confidence to Saints fans this week. I know that a lot of European clubs, including Spurs, Leipzig, and many others, are looking at him. But if we want him, we've got to pay 55 million. So if you guys can do that, that's some good business.
Yeah, definitely, and we can like most definitely like use that 55 million to like reinvest into like into positions that we need to invest in. Arguably, another centre back, another midfielder we need, because I mean, just thinking like Flynn Downs. I mean, he was arguably our star player last season in the Championship. This season, he's looked half a player.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a good one. And John, if I can come on to you completely on the opposite of that, obviously Forest still continuing their great run. I know two players actually that might hurt your feelings a little bit, scoring Elliot Anderson again, Chris Wood, two names that can't get away from the score sheets or the assist sheets this year. And Gibbs White being involved as well in one of the goals with Hudson-Odoi. Talk me about the Forest side, because they just don't seem to ever want to drop points, do they, mate?
Look, mate, I mean, listen, right? I mean, they've been fantastic this season. They've been a breath of fresh air on the Nuno. I mean, yes, they got points deducted from PSR, etc., but they still spent money. They still finally spent the money. And that's why they offered Wolves. I don't know how much it is, 55, 60 mil for Mateus Cunha as well. They really want that guy to complete the set. But the bottom line is, right, I mean, Forest got some good players there. I mean, you look at the back four, solid, absolutely solid. Milenkovic, Murillo, fantastic defenders, you know what I mean? 12 million quid for Nikola Milenkovic, man. How are 12 million quid? I mean, Fiorentina must be kicking themselves for that, I'm telling you, because it's worth a lot more than 12 million quid. But that back four solid. The goalkeeper Matt Sells, we had him at Newcastle, didn't quite settle in. Wasn't the right time for him to earn the championship at the time. But the bottom line is, I mean, he's been great for them as well. The midfield Margate's is not everyone's cup of tea, but he's doing a good job. Elliot Anderson's been fantastic. I'm pleased he's doing well, Elliot. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't want him to go, but PSR rules forced them to sell him. And then you got Elanga. He's outstanding. What a player he is. Hudson-Odoi, class. Morgan Gibbs White. What can I say about this guy? Stepped up every single week, that guy. And Chris Wood, unsung hero, yeah? That team, if they get Champions League, right? If Nuno gets in the Champions League, then Spurs must be kicking themselves. Because you know why? They never gave him time. Never gave him time. That's the thing. Look what he's doing now. You look at it, right? I mean, Nuno left Spurs doing bits. Conte left doing bits. Jose, okay, second at the minute in the Turkish league and Fenerbahce. But the bottom line is, right, Nottingham Forest are a fantastic side to watch. Counter-attacking the football, they rip you to bits, yeah? And I tell you what, they're scoring goals as well for fun. Another thing, I think they can go all the way this season and actually get top 4. I really do.
I mean, let me just check how many points they are behind Liverpool at the moment. So, I mean, 6 points. Liverpool do have one in hand. But, I mean, if anything, I would say they've probably got more of a chance pushing for the top than Arsenal do as a rival competitor. Let's put it that way. So, now, definitely a good breath of fresh air. Let's move on to our next game. We've got Ipswich 0, City 6. This one hurt me a little bit, to be honest, because I do love Ipswich. I think they've been a nice team this year. They weren't going to do much, but I feel this result flatters to deceive, to be honest, because I think that City could have probably had about 9 or 10. Anyone in either a mental institute or a tube station?
Train station. I was looking like who looks like they're at a train station.
I think it's John. I think John is literally that background is just the back of a train station toilet or something like that. He's just set up in there. I don't know.
It's not me.
You're not on the way to next non-league ground, John.
No, not at all, man.
No, you're not lost. You're not. He's got his dongle. He's got his setup. He's all set up in the toilet. He's allowed in there. He's got to put 5p in the meter to keep the door closed and all that. But he's all right. No, so
don't think it's me. You don't know where that noise came from, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually know who actually did that come from because I'm confused now.
No. I just see that was me because I'm in like a uni like study room, so.
Fair enough.
He kept quiet as well, didn't he? Let John take the whack there. You put it on John. It was like literally like blaming John that he farted then or something like that. And Kallum just kept quiet. He's like one of those silent farters that moved away. They're not Kallum. I can't believe that. He put it on John then, did he? So we know it wasn't John.
You proper buried John on that one, but no.
Not me.
Obviously, City buried Ipswich here. So, Craig, if I can come to you on this one. On this podcast, we've been very much praising Ipswich for how they have been playing well. They've been playing nice. They haven't got all the points they want, but they have got some very good players. Do you think this one will hurt them? Do you think this one will hurt them a lot?
They're the 24-25 Luton Town, aren't they? They've got lots of heart, lots of fight. I think probably, in my honest opinion, they're a little bit better than Luton. Of course, they have got Delap. He's a very, very good player. Very, very good player. I think they've got a lot of quality, for the championship. But then again, Man City were going to always react against somebody. And unfortunately, it was little old Ipswich that got it. And they had a very angry Man City who expect all the time to get in the Champions League. Of course, who knows what's going to happen with these 115 charges. They might even find that they might be in the relegation battle themselves if it all comes down to that. But in all honesty, somebody was going to get it from Man City. Ipswich got it. But by the by, they're not strong enough at this point in time. So they've already made a couple of moves, haven't they, in the transfer window, and a couple of moves that do look like they might work. But at the same time, I think it's going to be very, very tough for them. Like I say, I honestly, hand on heart, I think. Sorry, Alfie. I think Saints are buried at the moment. Alfie's even like, we're just hoping we don't get Derby's record. I've got to be honest.
Which I mean is a real concern because I'm just quick. So sorry for just jumping in, but I mean just looking at our last run of games, I genuinely can't see where we're getting points from now until the end of the season. I mean, maybe at Everton or Wolves, that's about it.
Dan looks like he wants to cry for the first time tonight.
Do you know what? I watched them. I didn't get to say on Southampton, but I watched them in the cup. Suleiman had come on, and I really wanted him at Everton, and he looked decent, and Diblin looked decent as well. I think Southampton will pick up, but they're not going to do out in the market. And like you've just said on Ipswich have gone and got that loan from Brighton. He's a good player, the one that they've got from Brighton.
And Cisco, Ben
Cisco. That's a really good loan, and they went and got the beat us to the winger from Aston Villa. I'm not sure. Philogene. But they do keep signing players, and they've made a real statement on being strong. I think Ipswich. Forget about this result, because I did say when we did our prediction that Man City were going to spank someone, it was always going to come. I think I said 6 or 7-0 or something like that. So I did expect it to come. But I think Ipswich will be strong. I do think they'll be better than what people think. They've invested, and the players are decent. Like I said, that loan from Brighton was cracking. I couldn't believe it when I seen it, because I thought I'd have him in our number 10, but good loan for Ipswich, that is.
My only thoughts on the players that they've bought in, it includes the summer business, is that are these players the best of the Championship but not good enough for the Premier League? And Delap, I would say, has proven it. But there's a lot of players in the Ipswich squad who look very good on their day, but their day's not there. I don't think they can do it consistently as Premier League professionals. And that's where I think that it could fall down, because Philogene hasn't got a look in at Villa this year. Whenever he's come on, he's not been anything special. He was
they've got a really good left. When I had the Ipswich fan on the channel, they've got a really good left back as well, haven't they? That's going to worth a lot of money.
Yeah, there's definitely some people in there who are Premier League players, but I don't think there's enough. And if you're going to do it, then they need to be buying players from it's hard to say what the top 6 and what the bottom 6 are now, sort of thing, because if you want to stay in the Premier League, you buy from the bottom clubs. But when you've got Everton in the bottom 6, you've got Spurs and Man United in there as well. The money that's going to be taken to buy the players that Ipswich would need to probably survive in it, whereas before it would have been buying from, i.e. before Brighton, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Forest, all of these teams. Now that's so changed over this year. The whole dynamic's changed. The players are so much different caliber that's in there. And I don't think Ipswich are going to be able to attract that full professional to be able to do it, to survive fully. That's my only concern for them. Craig, you look perplexed and want to jump in with that.
Yeah, what's concerning for Ipswich is, like I say, Southampton are gone. Leicester, I think, will go. I think Everton will be absolutely fine under David Moyes, and you'll see them move up the table, possibly even above Spurs and Man United in the coming weeks. But
you could do one. You could do one below me.
But I think the only two is between them and Wolves. Now if Wolves go on a little bit of a run, Ipswich are goners. However, if they can somehow, and I think the game between Ipswich and Wolves is coming up. I think it is coming up very, very soon. Mm-hmm. That game is a 6-pointer written all over it. That could be the game which, the winner it gives them the impetus, because I think they'll stay level on points for a little while. But those two teams, I think that, if Wolves get a rocket up their arse, which, let's be honest, they are a decent side on paper, but football's not played on paper. Ipswich are goners. But Ipswich have that chance. They have to fight for every single point now. They have to be dirty. They have to be a horrible team. And they might just do it, but they're not going to catch Everton. They're not going to catch anybody else. It is the bottom two are gone. Everton are out of it. It is between Ipswich or Wolves.
No, that's fair. That is fair. Right.
I just want to chuck in there as well.
Yeah.
Manchester City, they're going big on the window, ain't they? What do you all think? I think they're gonna probably be big spenders this transfer window.
Got Mamouche, Race, and Kusanov from Lens, and then they've got that other
Walker's going.
Walker's going, and then I think they've got Number Bar from somewhere in Spain as well, another youngster coming in. So
good signings, yeah.
Yeah, you know what they've done? They've gone, right, okay, we're going to get charged for these 115 charges. We might as well add another 115 on.
Yeah, it's going to take them 5 years to challenge each of them. So, I mean, might as well keep it going.
Yeah, exactly.
City look like they're the most proficient in this window. I mean, I think that they're probably overpaying for these players. I mean, Kusanov, I think they're probably overpaying by about 10. Race he's very young, so probably about 15 overpaid. And Umar Mamouche, I think, is
he's destined for greatness.
He is destined for greatness, especially with a name like that, Mamouche, and all that. It's definitely.
You know what I find mad though, and I said it before. Whilst Manchester City have won the treble, why didn't they go and get these players straight after that when they'd financially won everything? I really don't understand why they didn't invest, and they're doing it now as emergency. I couldn't believe that they didn't invest, because you could see Rodri was going to get injured. He just had an amazing World Cup for his international team and stuff, and you knew that they needed players and they didn't invest, and they're doing it now. If they would have done it at the start of the season, I don't think Liverpool would be.
Do you reckon it could be because Pep hadn't signed his contract? Because he was out of, maybe because they probably didn't expect him to sign a new deal. So maybe they expect this.
He could be pushing it now. Pep could be saying, "I'll leave if you don't bring it. These players ain't good enough for me.
And that's
if you don't bring me the players in, I'll go somewhere else."
Because from last summer, City were expecting to lose Pep. They was expecting to lose quite a few of their older players to Saudi or to free contracts, and obviously that Tixie Bergstein, the director of football over there, who's been with Pep all the way through it, he's obviously leaving, and they're bringing in the sporting director, the sporting director from Sporting Lisbon, sort of thing. That was very hard to get my head around that, to try and make sure the sentence made sense in that one. Oh, tell me about it. But no, I mean, I think it was a time of instability, and it's all reactionary. You can see the Haaland 10-year deal. I mean, we discussed that last week. That was a freak of nature, what that was. And yeah, it's a difficult one. But no, I think they're getting good players, at least with Kusanov and Mamouche. The other two, very young, don't know much about them yet. They're definitely like football manager players if you're going to go out and get them. But no, I mean, Mamouche, they should have got last year. If Alvarez was going, well, he did, they should have just gone and straight got him in. Because they had the money sitting there. The money was there.
Yeah.
So should have got him. I think that obviously Laporte's gone in the last couple of windows. Stones, Diaz, Ake are all susceptible to injuries. Walker was probably on his way out as well. And like Dan said, he's probably going to go to Milan now as well. So there was the money there to get players. I think that if anything, Brathwaite should have been the one that they probably should have looked at. And all that.
I thought he'd replace Stones. Yeah, I did. Because they could do with a centre back. I do think they'll come in. I think some teams are going to come in for Brathwaite, and Bournemouth playing well as well. You'll have to watch your players as well. They are going to take. There's some good centre backs about this season where I do think Manchester City maybe might go for it this window, but definitely next. You're going to struggle because they'll get some centre backs next season. Manchester City will.
I mean, there's definitely that Dutch centre back that Bournemouth have got. Is it Dean Hulson? Craig,
Dean
is it?
Howson, yeah. Dean, to be honest, Man City have been linked, as has Real Madrid, the last year, to Ilya Zabanier, who's his partner. Dean Howson, of course,
Oh,
signed
that's
for
the young
Juventus.
Ukrainian, isn't it?
Yeah, both of them are quality, and of course they're on about Howson as well. We are going to, the football club's going to earn a lot of money, going to get a lot of money through the coffers, but I would fully expect, our playing team staff probably to be ripped to shreds by, some big sides. The
What's
Barcelona.
your winger? What's his name? Beginning with S again. I forgot his name.
Semenyo, yeah,
Semenyo.
He's one of the best. But when I watched him against Newcastle, he ripped them to pieces. Semenyo is one of the best wingers going.
He's nursing
like,
an injury as well.
Right? I'll say something. Sort of cutting, right? I mean, that guy, Semenyo, we should be getting him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's better than Big Almiron. He's better than Big
class.
Jacob Murphy, I like him, but let's be real, right? End of the day, I mean, Semenyo would be perfect for Newcastle United. Do you know what I mean? The trouble is, though, he ain't going to leave Bournemouth now to come to us. He won't. He doesn't have to leave.
No, exactly.
It's going to be really interesting to see whether Bournemouth can be like, are they going to keep the players and say we're going to be a big team, or are they going to sell the players, which is scary for Bournemouth fans. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. They
got good ownership. They got a good owner, by the way, that cares for the football club. Do you know what I mean? And you spend money if it needs to be. They have spent a lot of money. Not many American ownership spend that big money like Bournemouth have. Do you know what I mean? Big up to him, by the way. And I tell you what, I think he's going to take you further. I mean, if Areola goes, then they got, like Craig said earlier on, they've got someone in mind who is going to be better.
No, exactly. And I mean, it's whether Bournemouth go with the line of, right, we're going to sell all our playing staff and rebuild like Brighton do and do it very successfully, make a mint and actually bring in some very good players to be able to replace them that no one's ever heard of. I mean, I know the only players that I'd heard of from the Bournemouth squad was because Spurs scouts are looking at Zabani and Hulson a couple of years ago, and I heard their names on a couple of reports. That was about it. But Kirkes, no one heard of him. Semenyo, obviously no one wanted to take a chance on him at Bristol City either. So, no, very good options going forward. Right,
He always blew hot and cold as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
When he was at Bristol City, I spoke to Mark McAdam, and I wasn't that excited when he signed, because but he's not. Andoni's got the very, very, very best out of him, and that's what Andoni actually brings as well. He gets more out of these players. He brings their careers on, and that's why people are coming to Bournemouth, and why players are coming here. But yeah, Semenyo doesn't want to leave. At the end of the day, I absolutely love the man. I will stop him leaving. I'll make sure that we block off the A31. Oh no, actually,
the problem is you've shut off.
John's already on the train to get him. He's going to get him now. He wants to
that's the only problem.
Right wing.
That bloody road, as long as it's blocked, then you got no chance. The whole of the South Coast will shut down.
What we'll do is we'll block the M3 from about Winchester because, of course, Semenyo's brother. You might see him actually if you're going down to Eastleigh, John. Jay Semenyo plays for Eastleigh, so of course they want to be close to each other. So there we are. That's a reason for him to stay. He's not going to go to Southampton.
No one wants to go Southampton. To be honest, I think most players want to leave there.
But Man City were 2 up. Now the 3-2 down. Great comeback from PSG.
I tell you who I do like at Bournemouth though, Alex Scott.
Yes,
I know that he's a boyhood Spurs fan, to be fair, and I've spoken to people around him and I've spoken to some of the family members, and they're such a down-to-earth family, and obviously Bournemouth pinched him from under Spurs' nose, because I think David Pleat went and looked at him when he was at I think he was at Bristol City as well, weren't he? I
He
believe.
was, yeah. A funny story about Alex Scott that maybe you don't realise. When he was a youngster, about 9, 10 years old, he was actually on the books at Bournemouth and he was rejected. And he went, of course, to Bristol City. I think that he possibly had a spell. Somebody might be able to correct me on this. I think he had a spell at Swindon. So he went from Bournemouth to Swindon and then to Bristol City, and of course come back. So I was questioning when we went in for him, and with that knowledge, because I knew that he was a Spurs fan, with that knowledge, whether or not he'd really want to come back because he was rejected by the club at a young age. But hey, it all worked out in the end.
Very good professional.
I would have massively questioned whether he's got a football brain if he's a Spurs fan, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm questioning my brain why I continue to put up with your bollocks every week on week. I don't know why I keep asking Harry to get you back on here, to be honest. I think it's just to make up the numbers and all that. I think it's just like, right, I need a fourth guest. Who can I get? Oh, Dan's free most of the week. It's not like he's got a newborn or anything like that. He's meant to be a parent.
I was like,
No,
I was
instead it's
begging
like,
me. He's
come on
like,
here
I
instead.
need you on. You're a big timer. Kallum wants you on. Kallum, he loves you really. He knows you're a big timer.
Yeah, I think you love me really as well, Dan. So it's all good, mate. But no, let's do our final game of 22 because I know we're advancing to the 2-hour mark and we haven't even got on to the previews for next week. So it was a very, well, like we said, if Wolves pick up points, then it does help them. This was definitely a bridge too far for them, to be honest. A 3-1 win for Chelsea, a very respectable win, to be fair, with Adebayo, Kukureya and Madueke scoring for Chelsea, and Matt Doherty, who is an ex good wing back player. I think probably the wrong side of 35 now. I'm not going to lie, and he definitely has been there, seen it, done it, to be honest, without doing much else. So anyone want to come in on this game at all? Give me their thoughts. Anyone interested?
I did see the game yesterday, but I mean, I know for a fact, didn't watch, so I can't really comment. But from what I've heard of it, Chelsea deserve to win.
Yeah. No, it's definitely Chelsea steamrolled Wolves. Wolves don't seem to be recovering, do they?
No.
Chelsea needed to pick up as well this game, didn't they? I went on a couple of spaces on X, and Chelsea fans really weren't happy, and they wanted players to step up and stuff. That obviously Cole Palmer, we called it a Cole Palmer team. I think they did it without him a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And didn't rely on him. Other players stepped up this game. It's nice to see.
Exactly. I just want to see whether Palmer actually got an assist, to be fair. No, actually. Dewsbury Hall got one. We were saying he was going to go last week, weren't we, Dan? We were saying he was.
I said I'd have him at Everton. Yeah, I did say, and he got an assist, so my scouting pretty good.
Yeah, and Trevor Chalobah being straight back at Chelsea's first game back, and he gets an assist as well. So
yeah, that was a good move as well. I think that will help them massively. You know, I've been saying Chelsea. The Chelsea fan didn't like it when I said to him, but I said your defense is shocking and your goalkeeper. It looked like Mr. Bean, and he didn't like it when I said it. But the defense ain't good enough. I think Colwell is cracking. He needs someone good at the side of him. They've now brought in a good centre-back at the side of him. So I think Chelsea will be a lot stronger. You need two good centre-backs, not one. And I believe they've got two now.
Exactly. And I think Reece James came back and he actually had a good game as well for them. So,
to be honest, that's the reason why I didn't watch this game. I just didn't watch it. I could have watched it, but I didn't watch it in process of Reece James's free kick, which shouldn't have really counted because of the Chelsea bullying our ball in the last minute at Stamford Bridge. So, yeah, my one-man protest was on, but it didn't do no fucking good, did it?
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. All right. So that was game week 22. So let's go round the houses and get predictions for these ones. I know everyone's got their own lives to do. We've all got our own jobs, and Dan's got to go and become the babysitter. For
Get the
rest of the
bottles on the warmer. Get them ready.
exactly. Instead, I'll go outside.
Do you know what? I have actually, because I've got like a newborn baby now. I've got some dummers if you want them after the Everton game. I've got some spare ones.
Yeah, do one. Stick your head up your arse as usual. Right, so let's go around the houses on this one. So I just want predictions on these, please, guys. So we've got Bournemouth versus Forest. So Alfie, can you give me your score for this one, please, mate?
Let's go Bournemouth 1, Forest 2.
Sounds very fair. Craig, what you going for?
Oh, top of the table clash, who would have thought it? I'm going to go with Bournemouth 3, Forest 2. But Forest 2-0 up at half-time, everybody whinging, and then we do what we normally do against Forest.
No, that sounds fair. Dan, what you going for?
I think 2-2. Really good game, this, isn't it? 2-2 I'm going to go for. I can't give someone a win here. 2-2.
I just want to have a look when this is. This. Oh no, it's a 3:00 kickoff. To be fair,
really good game. Really good game.
Which is a shame. I thought if they'd have got the TV rights better, that could have been a 12:30 TNT kickoff. But it looks like they've met their allowance.
Oh, come on, Kallum. I'm happy with the 3:00 kickoff because I'm going and I'm going to get in that pub straight away and have a couple beforehand.
Yeah, you and your asbestos top. That goes down well, don't it, mate? John, what are you thinking for this game, mate?
2-2.
2-2. Okie dokie. I'm gonna go for. I reckon 3-2 Forest. I think they've just got a little bit more about them, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 3-2 Bournemouth. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's a draw, though. I think it's got goals.
I hope Forest win, by the way, because someone needs to stop Liverpool. But
exactly.
Oh, no, we're going to do that the week after. I tell you what, the Leicester of Dean Court is on. The Leicester of Dean Court is on. We're going to beat them.
Well, if you do, I'll let you off.
Yeah.
I'll let you off.
Don't worry, we'll smash Liverpool.
Rightio, let's go down to the south coast. We'll go to the Amex Stadium where a quality team will be at home and a bunch of idiots will be travelling down from Merseyside to go down there, including one mug on the left down below me. So on this one, Alf, what are you thinking here?
Let's go Brighton 3, Everton 1.
No, that sounds fair. Craig, what you going for? Please shit in Dan's cereal a little bit more because I know he loves it.
I'm going to upset you, Kallum. I'm going to go Brighton 1, Everton 2. The David Moyes recovery continues.
Right, you just lost your place on any other podcast this year.
I like him a
lot. John, I'm going to come to you. What are you thinking on this one?
I'm going to say Brighton. Oh, it's a tough one. I'm going to go. This could be a frustrating draw. I think it's going to be a 1-each draw in that game. Brighton 1, Everton 1.
Okie dokie. I'm going to go for, I think, Brighton 3, Everton 2. But knowing my luck, Calvert-Lewin will come back and become prime God knows what now, and he'll get a hat trick. So, right, next game, Liverpool Ipswich. Because, Dan, what are you thinking on this one, mate?
Do you know, like, I just want to say, I really do rate Brighton. I like Brighton. Yeah. I do like Brighton. I think they've got some really good attackers, and the one that they got from Leeds, the striker now, is just coming into form as well. So they are.
Oh, what's that? Is that Nonto? Is it or something like that? That they got?
No, is it Rue? I can't remember his name.
Rutter.
Rutter.
Yeah. Rutter. He's just started scoring as well. So they've got players that are just. They need their players to gel in, don't they? They've got a lot of new players, and they're starting to gel. So it's a really hard team, but I do think Dunk's a bit of a donkey. So I think Dunk the donkey. We can exploit that, and we've got confidence now. Yeah, so I'm going to say 2-1, but it's not an easy game. Let's just say that we did go Brighton and smash them like 4-0 once with McNeil, so or 5-0, something like that. So come on, Everton, let's keep me happy, and keep Kallum crying.
Yeah,
that we're
I
doing well.
love that though, because Dunk's got about the same body shape as pretty much all of us on this podcast at the moment. So I mean, literally, we've got no hope if we wanted to play anything more than 5-a-side for 45 minutes now in our old ages.
Speak for yourself, mate. Speak for yourself.
We
You got
can
Arnold
see
Schwarzenegger.
your tits through your top. We can see your tits through your top. Don't you put them away? Look at look. Don't look at me, please.
Mate, I'm
Oh,
on the
right.
McDonald's diet. McDonald's diet. Get on it.
Oh, well, it's probably better than most of the diets in Liverpool. Usually, it's rats, isn't it, for a daily treat? All right, let's go to Anfield on this one. I'm afraid for Ipswich, this could be even worse a killing than last weekend. To be honest, this one has got all the writing on the walls for being a horrible one for them. So I'm going to go for Liverpool 6. I think Ipswich 0. So Alf, what are you going to go for here, mate?
I was going to go 7-0 Liverpool.
7-0 Liverpool.
7-0.
Craig.
I actually think that they will kind of respond, but they're not going to beat Liverpool. We'll have to just do that for them. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win, but a gallant fight from Ipswich.
Okie dokie. Dan, are you thinking they're going to put up a fight, or do you think they're going to lay down and let Liverpool exploit them?
See, I do think Ipswich have got the players to frustrate Liverpool. I think like Dillap will give Van Dijk a bit of a battle. I don't think he'll like that. I do think I'll draw. I'm going to go. I'd love Ipswich to get a surprise win here, which wouldn't be good for me because I don't want Ipswich to start smashing it and make it harder for us down at the bottom. But I will let Ipswich win this game because I just want Liverpool to start losing points. I think a draw 1-1. I'm going to go for. They've got some players now, Ipswich have. I think they have. Just the defence, isn't it? That's the problem. The left back and the right back, Salah. I don't know.
If you go at them, they will probably fold. So, John, are you going for a frustration for Liverpool or a pummeling for Ipswich?
It doesn't look good, does it, for Ipswich? Look, it'd be great to see them stay up this season, but this is Liverpool. I'm going to say, I think Ipswich will score, but I'm going to say 3-1 to Liverpool.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Right. John versus Alf. Alf, you're going to be wishing that you supported another team probably after this one, I think. But you have put up a bit of a fight. So what's your score prediction for this one, mate?
I'm going to go Southampton 1 with a Paul Onuachu header from a corner versus a Newcastle 5.
5-1. Okie dokie. John, you thinking Newcastle are going to respond and kill Southampton?
We have to bounce back from what happened on Saturday, but if we don't win this game, we don't deserve to be in Europe. But I'm fully expect. I'm gonna go safe. I'm gonna go 3-0 to Newcastle.
3-0 Newcastle. Okie dokie. Dan, what are you thinking on this one?
I think it's going to be close, and Newcastle needs to bounce back, don't they? But I think it's going to be a hard bounce back. 2-1, I'm going to go to Newcastle, but I do think it's a harder game than what they probably think.
No, that's fair. Craig, what are you going for here? Happy Southampton, or John's going to be laughing all the way to the bank?
Do you know what? Southampton's going to be trying to scrape themselves to get over that Derby's record. I'm sorry, Alfie. It's just not good enough. I'm gonna go. I think this could be a mauling. I think this could be a mauling. I'm going to go for Saints 1, Newcastle 6.
Oh, I hope you're right, kid. I hope you're right.
It could be.
I think you'll respond. Eddie will be meticulously watching that game on Saturday over and over and over again. Those same mistakes won't be made, and I think he will absolutely take out his revenge on Southampton. He don't like Southampton anyway, so that's probably one of the reasons. He did play for Portsmouth at one point as well. Eddie did, which a lot of people don't realise.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. So, well, no, I wouldn't say tight. It's going to be a well-fought battle. So I'm going to go, I think, 4-2 to Newcastle. I think Saints might get something. No, in my luck, I've slagged Bednarek off all night, and he'll probably get another bloody header from a corner or something like that. It's the only thing he can do. Can't defend them, but he can score them somehow. So we shall see. This one, I think, has the good makings of a good game, to be fair. Wolves Arsenal, I think it'd be Cunha's audition to be Arsenal's front man going forward. I'm thinking I've got it on Wolves to slump some more pain on Arsenal. I'm thinking 2-2. Dan, I'll come to you. What are you thinking here, mate?
I think Arsenal's going to batter them. Wolves' defence is so bad, and he ain't got the players in that I said they need to in defence yet. So I think Arsenal 5-1. I'm going to go for Arsenal.
Okay. Craig?
Wolves aren't very good defensively, but I think they've shored up, and I was a big fan of Gary O'Neill's, but I think they've shored up under the new manager. I actually don't think Arsenal are that great at this moment in time. They have got the quality, but I'm actually going to go with you, Kallum, on this. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
That's what I would like. Whether it's going to happen, it's not really. So, Alf, are you thinking that Arsenal will kill? Are you thinking Wolves will frustrate? Or are you thinking it's going to be literally Wolves are definitely going down?
No, so I mean, I feel like Wolves are going to be able to frustrate Arsenal a bit, but I'm still backing Arsenal to win. So I'm going to go Wolves 1, Arsenal 2.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, to be fair, Arsenal have just beat Dynamo Zagreb. Not much to go on, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, but it's a win. Is a win. John, are you backing some draws? Are you backing an Arsenal win, or are you thinking Wolves could take a surprise here?
It's going to be Arsenal win for me. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to say, the Wolves defend has not been great, hasn't it? Even though play a back three, I'm going to go 3-1 to Arsenal.
No, I think that's fair. Right. One of the big games that people are polling for this weekend. This is Big Pep versus Mini Pep in his apprentice at Chelsea. So I think that this one could have the makings of a good game. I think it could be a high-scoring game. I think it could be one of the most dull games going as well, because they both play the same and they seem to rely on City players one way or another across the board. So I'm going to go for 3-2 City. Alf, what are you thinking?
Again, so like you said, it's going to be a good game, and I'm going to support that with a 2-2 draw.
2-2, okie dokie. I mean, City do need to respond because it has just come up on my phone that they did, in fact, lose 4-2 to PSG as a final scoreline out in Paris tonight.
It looks like they're going out.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment in the Champions League, they are... Where the fuck are they on this league?
They've got to be like 24th.
They're quite low down.
They're 25th. They are 25th.
They're going out.
Standing. Yeah, so
they need to win. They need to win this game. They need to win the next one. Then that's it.
The last game.
Just to get.
Are they definitely out now? Are they definitely out, City?
I think there's one more round to go. I believe there's 8 games and they've played 7 at the moment. There's one more to go, but even if they win that,
doesn't guarantee it.
Well, they're just outside the sort of it's 24 teams that go 4 on the coefficient sort of thing, where they've then got the top 8 go through into the next round. The other ones have to play a knockout round sort of thing. So they could come out of it, but then that's relying on about another 6 or 7 teams to
obviously only a couple of second conversation. But what do you think of this? Because I don't like it.
This is
the format of the competition. I don't like it.
Confusion.
I prefer the old school. It's confusing to me. I'm listening to you
it
now,
does.
thinking.
And I think it's. I don't think there's the. I don't think it's as fair. I've just had a little look at who Man City are playing, and there's a couple of stipulations here because they're playing Club Brugge, who's on 11 points, but with a -2 goal difference. Now, Club Brugge, considering, only need 1 point to go through themselves. Yeah. Man City need all 3, but if Man City win and Club Brugge are beaten, it is very, very possible that Club Brugge will go out of the Champions League.
There's a goal difference.
Yeah, I think that Club Brugge are going to go to the Etihad, which is where it is. I think they're going to go there looking for a point and will defend with all their might.
Good on them. Good on them if they can.
Yeah.
I tell you what is good. I'm seeing Celtic most likely going to go through. Well, I think they're pretty much. Celtic can pretty much qualify. So no, good on them.
They're through. They are through. They are
Celtic
through.
Have qualified.
They're through to the playoffs. They're through to the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs.
Yeah, so no, good on them to get
through. I would love to go there. I would love to go there, but unfortunately, you have to book it up before August, and I didn't know about it. But next season,
I'm just getting used to it. It is different. I'm just getting used to it. Obviously, next season I'm gonna have to get used to it more. Obviously, when we get top 4 next season in the new stadium.
Well, I'll tell you what is interesting about it. I mean, not Dan's comment. I'm just going to ignore that. But the fact is that obviously where everyone was so used to the Champions League teams dropping into the Europa League and the Europa League teams then dropping into the Checkatrade Tim Pot Trophy that it is known as. Now you don't get that, is it? It's when you're out sort of thing. Yeah. So it's apart from that knockoff round or knockout round that you get. I bet there's so many more teams in there that it probably opens it up, but you can see it's all monetized. It's all about the business angle of it. There's no thinking about, it make it a better competition. It's purely money. You can see
I think the other competitions are going to be entertaining. I think the Europa League and the Europa Conference League are going to be a bit more entertaining and provide, especially the Europa League, will provide, not somebody who's fallen out of the Champions League. It's going to be, unexpectedly, it is going to be a team that might be a complete surprise to the system. So I think that's a good thing about it, but it's a little bit different because of course it's drawn. Of course, you can't play teams from your own country, but you're drawn one team from your own pot, and then you're drawn 2 teams from each pot. Sorry, I'll correct myself there. So that's where the 8 games comes in. So I'm hoping, but you can't play, say for example, if I'm right in thinking, you can't play Barcelona and Real Madrid. So I'm choosing which one I'd quite like next season.
Yeah, I think it's a weird combination across the board. I mean, at the moment, Spurs are in the Europa League, but we was top of it at one point, and then we lost silly points, and it has just been dog after dog after dog result. And like I said earlier, we've got to go away to Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim have been really poor in the Bundesliga this year, but they've been outstanding in the Europa League. They put all their eggs into that basket, and you're just like, that's another German club trying to kill a British club and all that with all their might. But let's get back onto this one. So, Dan, what are you thinking on the Man City-Chelsea scoreline, mate?
I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2. And John, what are you thinking on this one?
I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. So a couple of draws, and I think I went for a win. So Fulham, Man United. I know Barney will probably give us a prediction if he's still in the chat. He will go for a Fulham win. I think I would like to see a Fulham win just to heap some more pain on the Man United fans. So I think 2-1 Fulham for this one. Dan, what are you thinking?
1-1. I'm going to go for it. I want to give Fulham. I want to give Barney the win, and I do think Fulham are decent, but the United are fighting for the lives to not get relegated with Tottenham at the minute.
I knew you'd have to rub that one in.
No, sorry. Slipping in.
Yeah, just there we go. You're a bastard. Alf, what are you thinking? Because I'm just going to mute Dan for the rest of the show. Put him in the green room for the rest of it.
I know. I didn't want to be the Joker tonight, but I can't help it.
No. So I mean, I'm going to go along with you, Kallum and Barney. I'm going to go Fulham 2, Man U 1.
No, that sounds good. Craig?
To be honest, Man United are a load of shite. I think it's going to be Fulham 3, Man United 0.
Oh, okay. John, are you going to be as audacious and back Craig up on this one, or are you thinking that United might actually get a little bit out of this game?
I'm gonna go complete opposite. I think I'm gonna say Fulham. No, I'm gonna say Fulham win. Just 2-1.
2-1. No, that's fair. That is fair. So all of us have backed Fulham to do something, apart from Dan with his draw.
They got to be the favourites. They have to be the favourites. Fulham, years ago you would have said Man United all over, but Fulham are like Brighton were. It's not a surprise result. That's not a surprise result. In fact, I'm surprised that Man United even got one goal.
No, exactly. It's definitely a shit show of a club versus one that's very well run at present after past trials and tribulations for that. I think this is another cracking game as well. Palace Brentford down at Selhurst Park. So I think Palace got a very good result against West Ham, and Brentford probably felt a little bit mistreated against Liverpool at the weekend. So I'm going to go, I think a 2-2 draw would be fair here. I think that'd be a very good result for them. Alf, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go Palace 1, Brentford 2.
Okie dokie. Craig?
Brentford aren't very good travellers unless they're coming to Dean Court, which for some reason they always bloody beat us. So I'm going to go for Palace 1, Brentford 0.
Okie dokie. Dan?
1-1. I'm going to go for 1-1. Both about equal, aren't they?
Yeah. And John?
Oh, they could either way. Palace or pick it up in Brentford. You don't know which one's going to turn up, but I'm going to say 3-2 the Palace. I'm going to go for it.
Nice balance of results, couple of draws and a couple of wins. Right. Shit show club versus shit show club. What we're going for on this one? Because, I mean, this one literally has... It should be, in past seasons, us beating them 6 or 7-0. This season, we couldn't even get past them on the first day of the season when they were still a shit show under Steve Cooper and we drew 1-1. So I have to have faith. I have to praise it, but I know we'll concede at least one. I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs. Right, who wants to take the piss out of me first on this one? I think it's only fair.
I think Spurs will win that game. They have to win that game, and they will. I'm going to say Spurs 3, Leicester 1.
Lovely. Craig, you look keen to jump in on this one. What are you thinking?
I'm good friends with a Leicester fan, and he says that they've not got a fucking hope in hell of staying up. So honestly, I think it's going to be Spurs 2, Leicester 1. You're going to make hard work of it, but you'll get the 3 points.
No, that's fair. Alf, what you thinking?
I'm also going to go Spurs 3, Leicester 1.
Dan, this is the moment you've been waiting for to rub it in my face somewhere or another. So what are you thinking, mate?
At first, I was going to say Leicester 5-0, but I do think that you'll probably start with Richarlison, and he's scored a lot of goals for us against Leicester, and I do think if you start with him, I think Leicester you'll spank them. I do, honestly, and I wanted to say losing, put you in a relegation battle, but I think you'll beat them, Leicester, and I think you'll beat them 5-1. I really do think you'll spank them, especially if you play Richarlison.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice to at least enjoy a game of football because I can't remember. I think the last one that I enjoyed was either the Liverpool Cup game or Spurs beating Southampton 5-0 when we were 5-0 up at half time and then decided to go home after that back in December.
Kallum, you're not going to enjoy the game. You're not going to enjoy the game. It's going to be dogged. It's going to be turgid, but you're going to get the 3 points. Yeah, it's going to be one of those.
I would say that I'd have less hair than what I started with, but literally, I think if I start shining it or cutting it down now, I will be down to bones. So that's how we'll.
The thing is, I don't like to give you an excuse, but you have got a lot of injuries, like some big players, aren't you? Like on Dogi.
But we have had the opportunity. We have had the opportunity though to make stuff happen in the window and all that, and I think the club have just neglected it. So I like you were saying, we accept the injuries are ridiculous, but a lot of it is down to Angie's style. A lot of them are hamstring, the same recurring injuries, and the fact that we haven't made any moves or any business, they keep just going. First, it was at the window. We're trying to look for reinforcements. A week ago, we are working on it. Tonight, he's come out and gone, maybe we won't make any signings. I'm just like, what? How can you be 13 or 14 players out injured and not make any freaking signings? So, I mean, it doesn't really inspire confidence, and it's definitely got that geezer as tight as a duck's arse written all over it and all that. So, I think he could be out of a job by the end of next week.
How long is Brennan Johnson out for?
Brennan could be at least a couple of weeks, and Solanke could be until the start of March.
Yeah, so I mean, you got some good players out. Brennan Johnson, Solanke. Basuma was out last game. He's a big player for you. So you got some big players out.
Yeah, still got Vicario, Udogie, Van der Ven.
But the thing is, if you do start with the winger that set 2 goals up against us, and then you play Richarlison, you can put out a strong team. It's just probably the manager. Will he let you down on the tactics?
Well, as long as we don't put out a back 5, then we're all right, to be honest, because we haven't even got the bloody players for that. Right, let's go for our final game. Now, this one, obviously, they have played each other, I think, in the Cup about 2 weeks ago, and that was a Villa win against Potter on the first one. So, I think this could be 3-1 Villa, I'm going to go for here. Alf, what are you going to go for, mate?
I'm going to go 2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa. Craig?
West Ham, like you say, are defensively shite. So, yeah, I am going to go for 2-1 Villa. They've got a couple of threats going forwards, but yeah, Villa 2-1.
No, that's fair. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, normally I'd say West Ham have got a chance in this 50-50, but Morgan Rogers and all that lot, they're going to West Ham are in trouble here.
So what are you thinking, score-wise?
I'm going to go for West Ham. I can't believe I forgot that part. I'm going to go West Ham losing 5-0.
Ooh, okie dokie. No, I like that prediction, to be fair. Yeah, like you say, Villa, even when they're up against it, they have a way of getting back into it. Emre has definitely built a nice, compact team there. And John, for our final prediction, what are you thinking for this one, mate?
Yeah, I think Villa will have to bounce back from the Champions League disappointment. West Ham looking at the first win under Potter. And I'm going to go with Villa to win by 2-1.
No, very, very good on that one. So, obviously, that does wrap us up for our our Game Week 22 review and 23 preview. So, obviously, it is, oh God, it's 10:15, and we've been live for nearly 2.5 hours. So, I do have to thank all of my wonderful guests and Harry, as always, for letting us keep doing this every week. I mean, you probably get sick of listening to my bullshit every week, but people do still keep coming back, so we really do appreciate it. So obviously, I'll go around the houses just to say thank you to everyone. So, Alf, thank you very much for making your debut tonight, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Where can everyone find you?
So I'm currently on Blue Sky, recently moved to X and Instagram, all with at AKR Journey.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, mate. And I hope to have you on before the end of the season, before we start the championship show next year. We do have a couple of people who...
He's got it bad. He's had it bad tonight. I want to back him up a couple of times.
Oh, no. I'm sure we can find Steps or people like that from last year that are down in the championship now. I'm sure we've got a couple of Luton fans, but they'll probably be in League One by the end of next year. So fucking the options are just going down and down and down. But no, I really appreciate
Alfie, just make sure you keep Kallum's contact, so when you play each other next season in the championship, you can do a good pre-match.
Oh, Jane, you're a tosser. Oh, right. So thank you very much, Alf. Craig, thanks for coming on tonight, mate. And
pleasure, mate.
Great
pleasure.
to have your insight on Bournemouth and all the inners and outer workings on that. So where can everyone find you, mate?
No, thank you so much for having me, Kallum. And yeah, I've waffled on quite a bit today, haven't I? So I do apologise. But you can find us on Up the Cherries in all departments, UTCIAD on YouTube. We've got loads of content. So, interviews with some special guests, musicians. We've even had David Icke on there, believe it or not. So, yeah, do go check it out. And I'm sure that you'll find something that you like.
No, it's been a pleasure, mate, and hopefully you are on with us before the end of the season.
Oh,
see
definitely.
How
Anytime you want me.
Before Bournemouth do see if they do get European places. Obviously, one of my regular co-hosts now in Dan. I know we take the piss out of each other, but we are mates. We do get on in real life. It is just all a bit of banter. But no, it's a pleasure to have you on again, brother. So where can everyone find you, mate?
Toppy Bluecast on YouTube. It's the biggest channel in the UK and United States of America and every country in the world. Toffee Bluecast, get on it. Hit that like and subscribe. And get on it. That's biggest channel going.
Right, so if anyone knows where Dan lives, cut his power supply, please, and just show us he's actually he's probably broadcasting from like an outhouse or something like that.
I've got two. I've got two subscribers, and me grandma lets me use a Wi-Fi in the house, and that's it.
Yeah, he's running off a petrol generator and a bloody dongle. That's how he's broadcasting. It's probably from his wife's basement.
To be fair, I do some really funny shorts. Actually, I am thinking of becoming a comedian, and I wasn't 100%, but until me and Kallum went head to head, I know I've got skills to become a comedian. And Callum's football team as well, they could be a comedian just as a team because they're rubbish.
Yeah, I know. You keep saying that. Yeah, and yet somehow I'll still end up putting up with you for like at least another 10
Yeah, but I did say Tottenham win against Leicester, didn't I? I did say Tottenham.
Oh, I know. I have to give you that, to be fair. But no, it is a pleasure to have you on as always, Dan. And we will keep doing it. And like, how can I forget this man? The one, the only, John Sinclair, my favourite Geordie in the country going. Love all of his content. Love where he comes from. Where can everyone find you, mate?
Thanks for having us on, and thanks for having us on. And everybody else as well, in chat and in the room as well. You can find me on John Sinclair TV. What I do now, I don't do much lives, unfortunately, because I cannot compete with other NUFC podcasters as well. So I'm taking a back seat for that. So what I do now, I'll do around the vlogs, around the grounds. I'll do different stadiums, hospitalities. And if I don't do hospitality, I'll just go straight into the match. And the match I'm going to on Friday is Newport County, Swindon. And on Saturday, I'll be watching Newcastle away at Southampton. And I'm going to try to look for games on Tuesday evening, so I'll keep your eyes peeled for that. So, yeah. So that's what I do. Check out the latest video I've done. The South Wales Derby, Cardiff Swansea. That's got 10,700 views. Also got 100 plus new subscribers. That's basically from Cardiff fans, you know. Big up to Cardiff fans, by the way. They looked after us as well. So please, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share the content, and you name it.
Lovely stuff. And obviously, I have to say, big up to Harry, as always. So like and subscribe his channel. Go and check him out for all of his daily shorts that he does. And he will be doing all of the content leading up to the Hoffenheim game tomorrow night for Spurs. I believe that is a 8 o'clock kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. So Harry will be doing all of his usual, and he has started doing X spaces as well. So don't forget to go and check that out with one of our other co-hosts and Harry doing that as well. And if anyone can be bothered to go and find me, you can follow me at Kallum Stubbs 97 on X. You can go and see me on Park Lane Podcast, usually at 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. You can find me sometimes on H's regular show if I wake up and get stuck on a podcast with him at 7:45 or 7:30 on a Monday night as well, depending on if Spurs win. If they lose, sometimes I always end up on there with JJ Codger, so that's always a fun laugh as well. And if not, you can find me and all my wonderful Premier League guests every Wednesday night, or on another night, depending on if Spurs are playing, at 7:45 until about 10 o'clock for all of that. But no, obviously, thank you very much to all of my guests as always, and bring on next week. And thank you very much for watching Scarfey Talks Premier League podcast.